kind of seems like it would be likely, although some of the candidates at third base have been it's been a little rough, but yeah, I mean it's amazing that was one of the things that we didn't give a lot of time to his bat, and it's just been incredible. He's making it look easy.
Well, and he's been coming up in clutch situations when he has produced. So it's just that was a huge moment, and then. You got to give J.P. Crawford and Rowdy Tellez a little tip of the cap there, tip of my tiny cap to those two on that play. A brilliant play by Crawford. I'm surprised he was able to get that much on the throw from where he was at on the ground, and then Tellez making a nice stretch. Luckily, he's a big 6'4" guy who's got some reach there, but this was big.
Munoz looks in, the sign from Cal. Now the stretch, and the 0-2 on the way, swinging a ground ball off the top of the mound. Diving stop beyond the bag by Crawford. From a knee, the throw to first, and it's in time. Wow. Holy smokes, what a play by J.P. Crawford. Absolutely a magician behind the bag at second. A line drive that skipped off the top of the rubber. In behind second base, Crawford with a sprawling dive in behind the bag. In the webbing of his glove, he was able to snare it on the outfield grass from his knees. He threw it to Tellez in time to Rob Caratini. Well, that was a gem.
I love Riz. He's fired up. That was a great play, though. It was a phenomenal play.
Did that go off the rubber? Or I thought it went off.
I guess it was hard to tell what it hit. I was more focused on JP and just he's throwing from his knees there, and then that he got that much on the throw from that position was huge.
Well, the stab to get it, I mean, it was almost like a snow cone. You could see the part of the ball was sticking out the end of the web. But also, how in the world, I watched that about 5 times, did he get that throw off? It's almost like he did like, when the guys do the worm dance.
Yeah.
It was like somehow he was able to bounce up. Boy, I made that sound really uncool, didn't I?
Yeah, it sounded very, very.
But the way he was just able to bounce up somehow off the ground and just get that throw off, that was incredible.
No, it was huge. It was obviously a monster play, and Polanco coming up big, Bliss with the home run. I mean, there were some great things in this game. And just quickly, Dan Wilson after the game talking about, how big Polanco has been for this offense.
I mean, he's a veteran. He's been around, and his ability to, not speed up his at-bat, get the pitch that he wants, and then he's able to do with it what he wants to do with it. And, we saw that in San Francisco in that first game. And then, tonight, able to get something up in the zone enough to where he could get it through the middle. And, he just worked the at-bat so well, and that's what he does, He's not only does he work the at bat, but he's able to get the barrel to it. We've seen so much barrel from him consistently, and he had an out earlier in the ball game that was I think his first AB where he smoked it to right too. So he continues to find the barrel.
So huge, some great things out of that win, and beating the Astros is just delightful. I mean, just just watching that team, look like they had it. They were going to find a way to win, and then the Mariners come back. That's huge. That's huge. So there are the good things. Now you tell the whole story. You tell some of the things that weren't great.
Hey, you know what, though? We went past 2:10 with the good things.
Yeah.
Now there's only like 6 or 7 minutes for the bad.
Well, you got to tell the whole story. That's just how it goes. And we've been saying about, at least certainly I had been saying, there's no reason to put Polanco at third base. Just take his glove away, let him be the DH, because you got Dylan Moore, you've got Solano, you've got some options you could put there. Dylan Moore didn't help my case last night because I don't know what he was doing on that ground ball at third. It was a routine play. Yeah, it was hit with some steam, but he did exactly what you're taught not to do. He gave up ground, and then he tried to side saddle the ball. You're taught to if the ball hits the dirt, you're going towards it. And at least get in front of it so you knock it down. He tried to olay the ball, and it just went right past him. It was you're like, what? Wait, what? What are you doing? What are you doing there? And it was a brutal play. It was a brutal play that surrendered the lead. I mean, the timing was horrible. It was a routine play that he did not make, and you're going, are they really going to gack this game away because of that moment? And luckily, everything transpired the way it did with Polanco coming up with that hit, but that was one where you're just going, I don't know what you're doing there or what you're thinking.
Yeah, I don't know if he even remembers that. Sometimes things happen so fast.
Oh, I think he remembers.
I mean, at the time, what was he thinking? I don't know. It was almost like he was trying to get out of the way, right? So
yeah, It was a weird moment where you're just like, wait a minute, dude. We've seen. I mean, the guy's a Gold Glover. We've seen him make great plays, and this is one that was fairly, remedial, if you will, for somebody of his caliber, a Gold Glove level player at the major league level. That's a really basic play, and it cost you the lead at that moment. You're going, oh my God. So that wasn't great. M's offense had 4 total hits, and they got shut down by the 5th starter of that rotation. Mm-hmm. He had 4 hits. Now, they were crucial. The Polanco and Bliss hits were big, and that was huge, but you still had some issues catching up to fastballs and getting beat by fastballs, and just getting shut down again by the number 5 starter for the opposition was not awesome. They didn't have the traffic they normally had. They had just 2 left on base in the game. They were 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position, but that's not awesome. Generally you get 4 hits, it's not going to be enough. Luckily your rotation, your relief was there and able to mitigate the damage, but that was a little bit concerning for me watching that, because this is when I thought they'd win, but I thought it'd be more comfortable because they're not going up against, the front end of their rotation.
Yeah.
So that was, and then Santos, I don't know if it's just pitching back-to-back games. He wasn't sharp. 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 runs. They were unearned because of errors. 2 walks, no strikeouts. He wasn't sharp. So, those are the bad. That was the bad. They overcame it. They overcame all that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go back to the fact they only struck out 6 times. So that somebody said bring back Negative Dave here.
Bring back Negative Dave?
Yeah. Because I'm being positive. But. And by the way, when I said, I bet you he doesn't even remember it. Yeah, of course he remembers it. But, what was he thinking, Dylan Moore, at that time? He probably wasn't even I don't know. I mean, he probably doesn't even, it's just like an instinct thing. It happens so quickly. And it's just too bad that, that's because his instinct typically would be in that split-second moment is to make that play, because that's why he's a Gold Glover. So, I don't know. I'd just write that one up to just one of those things that happened. How about that?
Yeah, however you feel about him as a full-time player, he's a better defensive player than that moment. Certainly. He's a Gold Glover. He's a guy who can play anywhere on the field, and you feel pretty good about what he's going to do. Every one of these guys will make a mistake at one point or another. Problem is just where it happened. The timing of it was brutal, where it cost you the lead, and you thought, oh, no, you're going to lose the game on this.
Because of
and the offense was not cooking. Again, prior to that, you had 3 hits in the game, so you were being shut down offensively. You had the lead, and you surrendered it with a routine play. So, look, this isn't about, he stinks, never put him out there. I trust him. I'd still rather have him play third base than Polanco. I would just like to see Polanco just be a hitter, take the wear and tear off his body, let him just focus on hitting. There's no point in putting him out there unless somebody needs a day off. You've got no other options. But outside of that, I would say, unless he's begging you to play, and he's one of those guys that feels like I've got to be in the field to find my rhythm or something. Beyond that, I would say, what's your motivation for putting him out in the field?
Yeah. Well, and Dylan Moore, I mean, he's also struggled a little bit with right-handed pitching, right? I think he's.
Oh yeah, big time last year.
Yeah, he's got a couple hits. I think it was 2. He's batting 200 or something against righties. So I think he's 2 for 10. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I just put my trust in him, and that that's probably maybe going to happen one more time this year. But hopefully that's it. Kind of limit the damage there. But I sure like the idea of Polanco at DH.
Yeah, and then they just need to figure out how they're going to work it with, Garver, how many turns they want to get him. Do they, he's a guy who had a great spring. He hasn't had many opportunities yet in the season, but, I don't know what their plan is for him. So maybe it's a platoon but I don't know. At this point, Polanco is your best hitter. You need that bat in the lineup every single night if he's physically able to, until he cools off. I just don't see, beyond giving him just a night off just for the wear and tear on the body, there's no reason not to have him in that lineup. Yeah. Switch hitter, so it doesn't matter whether it's a lefty or righty you're facing. He's your best hitter right now. Run him out there until he's not hot anymore.
Boy, that's going to be probably one of the toughest coaching jobs for Dan Wilson this year, is trying to, manage Polanco in that injury, and what to do with him. And, I don't know. I don't see any reason for him to be at third, but I'm sure he's going to end up there a couple of times, and just pray that he's not going to screw up that knee or agitate it.
Yeah, we'll see how often they run him out there. Maybe he's one of those guys like Nelson Cruz who's like, I can play in the field. I want to play in the field. I get it, but hopefully he's somebody who can adjust to not being in the field as often as he would like. All right, let's take two.
I guess a pretty timely update here, and not one you're going to like. So Polanco is not in the lineup tonight against the lefty Framber Valdez. Dylan Moore batting leadoff, and I'll read the whole lineup since everyone wants to know. Dylan Moore playing third. He's batting leadoff. Julio in center. Cal Raleigh the DH tonight. And you have a Rosarena in left. Mitch Garver's catching. Donovan Solano the first baseman. Raley in right. Bliss at second. Crawford at short.
All right. So I wonder if this is a night off just because that's just part of the schedule. Hey, one on, one off, or how this is going to work with Polanco. But again, barring some physical ailment or just this is our prescription, so to speak. This is how we're going to keep him healthy throughout the season. He needs to be in that lineup. So it's interesting that he's not in it today.
Yeah, I'm wondering what kind of guy he is too. Like some guys are like, okay, I'll just go along with whatever, the manager says, and then there are other guys that are like, hey, I want to get out there and I feel fine. Put me out there, I'm okay, and have to be held back.
Yeah.
So, but man, he's got 4 kids now. I think they're boys too. 4 boys. Holy smokes! Is he going to get any sleep?
Unfortunately, we have a really sad story coming out of the Dominican Republic this morning that involves a lot of MLB players and former MLB players. So former pitcher Octavio Dotel was one of at least 44 people who were killed early this morning, according to the Dominican Republic police. The roof of a nightclub collapsed, and then Nelson Cruz's sister, Nelsie, was also one of the confirmed casualties.
That's awful. Dotel pitched for the Cardinals, didn't he?
He pitched, where I was looking up, I think 12 different organizations.
Yeah, I remember him with the Cardinals, but that's brutal. That is, beyond tragic. I just read a headline about a nightclub roof crash or whatever the heck. I didn't read it to see what led to it. Do we know why it
There is no official cause, but it sounds like there were a lot of people there. It was a big, this is according to the AP News report, a big merengue concert. There's athletes, politicians. It's a pretty famous nightclub in the Dominican capital. So,
but it wasn't like an earthquake or anything like that.
No, there was no cause known yet.
That is awful.
Jeez.
Wow.
44 people. That's terrible.
Yeah. Your heart goes out to everybody, and obviously Nelson Cruz, who we know here, but even the families we don't know, obviously. That is just beyond tragic. So hate hearing that news. All right, Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. The Mariners overcame the bad last night, but is there news today that is much tougher to deal with? We'll get into that next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
The Cal Raleigh Show.
Belted way out of here to right field. Holy smokes.
Every Thursday with Shannon Dreyer on Wyman and Bob.
Seattle has been nothing but good to me. I would love nothing more to play for one team my whole career.
Listen live on the Seattle Sports app or find the video on YouTube.
Cal Raleigh with a walk-off home run.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
47,000 fans are going crazy.
This week's First Mark Challenge victory, well, it goes to Mike. Hey, Mike, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
My wife and I moved here from New York City and found this great guy. It got pricey, but because he was good to us over the years, we stayed loyal to him. But then one day I got an increase that was quite unacceptable. So I made one phone call. I didn't do any shopping. My wife told me to call First Mark.
Mike, were they able to save you and your family money?
Oh, yes. It was over $100 a month.
What would you tell others they can expect when they call First Mark?
The most competitive pricing that you can find. And they had terrific customer service. Even if you're on the phone with them, you can tell they have a smile on their face, so you can tell they love what they're doing.
Do you wish you would have made that call earlier?
I was just kicking myself as you were speaking because I didn't do it sooner.
Well, you just heard. Mike did it. My family did it. You got to do it, too. It's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. That's firstmarkinsurance.com.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Free consultations, no-fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-371-0505. 800-371-0505.
Stream every Seattle sports show with the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center Proton Therapy. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily. We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Hey, this is a great deal. Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement, incentivizing homeowners like you to book their roof replacement right now. It's Mike Salk here, and this is a great time to do it. The days are getting longer. Post 7 p.m. sunsets, those crews can get your roof done quick, just in time for the spring rains to keep your home dry and protected. Here's what you got to do to claim your $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing. Book a free estimate from their website, riversideroofingllc.com. And when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. $1,000 back in your pocket and a brand new roof over your head. Be sure to ask Brandon about their 35 years of local experience, their GAF Master Elite certification, which puts them in the top 3% of roofers nationally, and the catch-all system, which they use to keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails and shingles. It's all at riversideroofingllc.com. Tell them Mike Salk sent you. Go to Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
So the Mariners get the big win over the Astros last night in game one of that 3-game series. They'll see if they can get it done again tonight. Luis Castillo, the real Luis, the rock, not the pebble. Remember the other Luis Castillo they called the Pebble? I thought that was pretty funny.
That's a pretty common name, apparently, because I've met like 3 other people named Luis Castillo.
Yeah, that's like Joe Smith out here.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I had a cab driver in L.A., a guy I met at the airport.
I just like that's how they distinguish the Rock and the Pebble.
The Pebble.
This is the Rock going tonight in Game 2. Again, if you're just tuning in, you can tune in at 5:30 for the pregame show. We'll turn you over to the pregame show at 5:30, 6:40 first pitch for Game 2. But the bad news surrounding the Mariners is Victor Robles, who is out for, looks like at a minimum 12 weeks, where they're saying they aren't going to operate. They're going to let it heal for the first 6 weeks. Then he'll begin rehab for 6 weeks before he'll be ready for any sort of game action. I don't know if that second 6 weeks includes a stint in the minor leagues, a rehab assignment there, or after that second 6 weeks, then he goes to do a rehab assignment. So I don't know the timing of that. But they're also saying if it turns out he does need surgery, that's it for the year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just brutal. That's hoping for the best, hoping that beyond hope that it is the non-surgical route, that the 12 weeks will be enough and he'll be back in business. But what a brutal loss for a lineup we talked about it a million times. They don't have any slack. They don't have the luxury of depth. They don't have the luxury of, we got 5 other mashers in the lineup, so we don't need that spark plug. No, you need him, and he's very impactful in the field and at the plate.
Yeah, what a shame. What a shame. And I just, you wish that he hadn't gone. Mike and I were talking about, the netting over there, and maybe if that was a wall, there instead, maybe if it's just the short wall, maybe he just flips over and maybe gets a concussion or something, or, he ran so hard in that wall. Maybe he wouldn't have ran as hard if there was a solid wall there, because those outfielders go out there and inspect their surroundings and everything. And so, but I mean, for him to just go plowing in there it was truly heroic, but unfortunately just bad result there. And I still can't believe the sound that you can hear, like how hard he never even. There was a guy at Stanford that was the hardest hitter I've ever seen. Like if you ever looked at him, he never like settled his feet or stopped. He would just run right through people. He wasn't the best player, but that's kind of what you saw there. I was kind of comparing it to him taking on like a wedge in the old kickoff rules, but it's just incredible. And you love that kind of heart, but man, just no regard for his body whatsoever. I think it's good news though that Mike Lefko and I were playing doctor in there talking about the AC joint.
I'm sure that'll go well.
Yeah. And we located the humerus, right? And the head of the humerus.
We're medical experts.
Yeah.
We know you guys looking at diagrams online and everything?
Yes, exactly. Okay. I hope he's going to Ed Calfane. I don't know who their shoulder doctor is, but he just worked miracles for me, and I know he works for the Seahawks and does a lot of stuff. So hopefully it'll be, if it's just a lot of times you wish it's rather a bone than tissue.
Yeah.
If it's a bunch of tissue torn and everything, I mean, you got to repair that, and then it's going to take, months to heal. So hopefully it'll be that they're right. But I mean, if they went in there, had an MRI, and they don't see any tissue torn, I mean, I'd say I'm fairly optimistic about the outcome.
I hope so. I know, talked about mine yesterday. I'm obviously not a pro ball player. I didn't get surgery on mine, but it's also never been the same since. So it's just, hopefully he's able to. He's got more at his disposal than I did in the way of treatment and everything there to get him on the right path. So hopefully that's how it goes. Jeff Passan was on with Brock and Salk, and they asked him how many teams could overcome injuries to key guys like the Mariners have so far with Kirby and now Robles.
A half dozen maybe. Depth is hard, man, and depth. The best kind of depth comes from the draft and from international amateur free agent signings. That's when your team is well run. When you have the injury bug hits like this, and all of a sudden you can go to guys who have come up through your system, not just 4A guys who you sign in order to have depth, but actual impact type guys. And I think the Mariners are a year away from having that at the big league level.
Yeah, there aren't the obvious. I mean, they called up, Dom Canzone. We'll see what what the rotation is with him in the outfield with Rayleigh out there and how often they want to get him in the game and get his bat in the lineup. But you don't have that obvious guy. You don't have, certainly not the homegrown guy he's talking about. You got some young guys that look like they could be big bright spots for the future, but they're not ready yet.
Yeah.
So you're not calling up Las Montez at this point, right? You're not calling up the names we've been hearing over and over, whether it's I don't know, Colt Emerson or Cole Young, all these names they're not ready yet. Williamson, his glove is ready, his bat is not. So you don't have that guy who's going to come up here and maybe equal or get close to equal to what Robles was, maybe exceed it. That just doesn't feel very realistic.
No, not at all. And the guy's got 3 stolen bases. His defense, not great throwing arm. I mean, as far as accuracy goes, I think as far as, the velocity is fine, but it just seemed like there was a number of times that he had off target, but that would be my only criticism of him. Maybe see more pitches, but he is aggressive at the plate, and it's paid off for him. I mean, he's got an 8-game hitting streak before he got hurt, and 4 of those games are multi-hits. So, yeah, it's going to be really hard to replace him as far as offense goes. But yeah, I don't know who's going to do that, but hopefully it's shorter rather than longer as far as the injury goes for Robles, because he's one of your more dynamic players. He just makes things happen.
Yeah, it's a huge loss. I mean, it just is. It's weird to say that about a guy they picked up, mid-season last year. Played 77 games. He was looked as a bit of a bust in the league, certainly with Washington. Never lived up to the hype coming out as a prospect, and couldn't stay healthy. Unfortunately, now he's, that's the story this year. At least it's not a soft tissue. He's got a sore hamstring or he's got a pulled quad muscle. This is a legitimate injury, obviously. But yeah, it's kind of been his story, unfortunately. And he's had such an impact in a brief time here. He's become such a spark plug for this team. It's a lot to ask him to overcome it, because as Jeff said there are only a few teams that have that kind of depth where you could lose somebody that impactful and you've got somebody right behind them ready to go.
No.
Mariners don't have that.
No, they don't. And, we needed upside improvement in order to fill all the holes. You're talking about even in the infield. I was just wondering about Dominic Canzone, and he's 27 years old. He got 45 plate appearances, played in about 20 games last year. Is that the best option you think that they have?
Yeah, because he
played in 67 games.
Yeah,
67 games last year.
Yeah, and Lefko asking, would you rather the Mariners take a chance and call up one of their young prospects or go with somebody like Canzone? I would say go with Canzone for now, until you feel like, this is not the time to rush a prospect and maybe you're damaging their confidence and they're not ready and they're going to come up here and just get dominated. That doesn't do the team any good, and it's not going to do your prospect any good. So I'd rather have somebody you're looking at he's been at the major league level. He's produced at times. What you've got in Canzone. Is he a superstar? No, he's not. But I'd rather him in the lineup than risking what would come with a prospect who you're banking on for the future if they're not ready. If you feel like they're ready, all right, call them up. But I don't think they feel that way about any of those guys currently. So yeah, I'm fine with Canzone. I think that's it's really your only move. I was going to say, I think it's the right move. It's kind of your only move, really.
Yeah, it is, if you don't want to bring one of the young guys.
Yeah, you don't want to burn one of your young guys who aren't ready. Say, well, we're going to just throw you in the deep end, kid, sink or swim. They don't need to do that this early in the season. And we'll see. Maybe Canzone gets hot. I don't know. We'll see how often he's in the lineup. He's been up here for a couple games. He's not in the lineup. Was he in the lineup today? He's not in the lineup today, is he?
Who was that? Sorry.
Canzone.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah,
he hasn't come in yet, right? Since he got called up.
No, he didn't play last night. And he's not in the lineup. So I don't know what their plan. If he's just insurance or what their plan is schedule wise to get him in there. We'll see. How do the early struggles of the Mariners offense reflect on the coaching staff? We'll get into that one coming up next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans?
With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Hey, have you been considering surgery or even joint replacement? It's Dave Wyman here, and after years of football, I know all about bad knees. So I recently had a consultation with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. I've heard so many patients just rave about stem cell therapy with Dr. Wagner. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone. They're back hiking, jogging, playing tennis, skiing, golfing, even just going up and down the stairs, playing with the kids and grandkids, and doing it without pain and, most importantly, without surgery. Dr. Wagner's 60-minute outpatient procedure uses your own stem cells, which can regenerate your own cartilage in your own joints. Dr. Mark Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience, and he's performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. And he's one of the few doing it the right way. So whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Get the facts, then get back in the game at drmarkwagnermd.com.
You're losing your hair and you want a simple solution that works, and you want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Parungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration, from the experience itself to the unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, they were recently crowned 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185, 425-449-8185. If you qualify, get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185. Refine your hairline with a team that's redefined hair restoration. AdvancedHair.com.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity.
So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
They say teachers don't impact for a year, but for a lifetime. Hi, this is Rick Riz. Join WSECU, your local credit union, as we celebrate those who give so much with the Teacher of the Week program. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. Each week throughout the season, we'll honor one teacher with a $500 grant, courtesy of WSECU. Teachers are the real MVPs. Find out more and nominate a teacher at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
This year, tee it up at home with Synthetic Turf Northwest. Dial in your yard and your short game is sure to follow. Synthetic Turf Northwest is your synthetic grass expert. Install a custom backyard putting green or just a mud and mow-free lawn the neighbors will envy. They do it all. residential, commercial, and turf supply, with locations in Woodinville and soon Fife. Mention Seattle Sports and save up to $1,000 off your project. Visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We were just talking about White Lotus during the break.
I heard my wife and daughter are watching that.
You don't watch it?
Yeah, the guy who writes the whole thing.
Mike White.
Yeah, so he's Dusty from Gentlemen Broncos. Have you seen Gentlemen Broncos?
No. You've asked us about that show a million times.
I thought Matt would have watched it by now.
It's been on my list for a while, but I've heard it's bad, and you recommend it.
You're gonna think it's.
What does that tell you?
You're gonna think it's stupid, but it's pretty.
I've
pretty
heard
quirky.
it's bad, and you're recommending it. So there you go.
Actually, I don't think we have it going that way. It's the other way. I hate what he recommends, but he likes everything I recommend.
What have I liked that you've recommended?
Gentlemen Broncos.
I doubt it.
He's pretty sure he's not going to like it. All right. Well, yeah, good show for those that watch the show. I assume your wife and daughter like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. It just the finale was the other night, the season finale. So.
And disappointing?
No, I thought it was great. Surprising, some of the turns, but I won't blow it for anybody out there.
Okay.
It's very good. Matt has yet to finish it. So
You're kinder than the people on Twitter because within 5 minutes of it airing, I had already gotten like 3 of the biggest.
Oh, really?
spoiled.
I can't believe this happened. What? Yeah. That's you got to stay off social media for that stuff. But great show. Anyway, taking a look at what's going on with the Mariners and their coaching staff. Now, remember last season when Scott Service gets fired, they bring in Dan Wilson, Edgar Martinez. Final 34 games of the season, and they played better. They're hitting better. Everybody said, hey, they came in and sprinkled their magic fairy dust on this team, and they're magicians. Look what they did, and that's going to be who they are moving forward. Well, so far the season has started out much like last season prior to their arrival. So I'm just wondering where, and you and I saw some of the texts come in yesterday taking shots at Dan Wilson already. We thought, wow, he's kind of sacred ground there. He's Mariner royalty. So I think there's a little more tolerance. There's a little more slack with him being in that spot. But we started to see a couple of the cracks going yesterday, just at least on our text, where people were like, "Oh, Wilson screwed that up. He shouldn't be the manager. They, get rid of Dan." I was like, "Wow, already? Okay." But I'm curious where people are at with the coaching staff. Like, how are you feeling about what you've seen to this point? Because again, there was a big rush to crown them geniuses, and I'm not saying these guys know baseball better than I could ever hope to, and one of them's a Hall of Famer, but it doesn't mean everything they do is going to be right and is going to work, and we'll see what it's like through a full season. But this has started out much like it did last year, where we were frustrated with what the offense wasn't doing, and everybody felt it was as simple as a manager change. Well, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't that simple.
Well, I think he's kind of seen as having the same approach as Scott Service. And, I think the one thing, though, he does have a little bit more of an impact, I think, because who was it that we were talking to? And he's like, oh, it was Amsinger, even though he picked us to finish 5th in the AL West, which, are we still 5th?
I think so.
I think we might be.
I haven't looked at the standings today, but I don't think it changed much.
But Yeah, I mean, he was just going on and on about Dan Wilson, going, this guy is a Mariner, man. I mean, he caught here, and obviously Service caught in the league and everything. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's, we've been saying it's early for this team and to see where they're at. I would go back to the fact that the strikeouts have curbed at least. And you pointed this out yesterday that they're like middle of the pack now.
Mm-hmm.
I think after that first series, they were either second or third. I think they were behind the White Sox. They had 41 strikeouts in 4 games. So that's starting to come back a little bit, come back down to earth. And that's, I don't know, just a general feeling of like futility when you see guys just going up there and striking out and swinging and everything. And so that's gotten a little bit better. We'll see. Hopefully it's a trend that's building. But yeah, I feel like as far as the approach and, what he's telling the guys and how he's managing games, everything, I haven't seen anything that's ridiculously outrageous. And to me, it's still very early for that.
Yeah, well, remember the numbers I gave you yesterday about what they did in that Giants series. And I can't remember. I think they had stranded 35.
Yeah.
And they were 5 for 32. Does that sound about right? With runners in scoring position. It was dreadful. It was dreadful. They had traffic. They certainly had a lot of traffic, but again, I think that was the number I gave yesterday. 5 for 32 with run. It was dreadful. Jeff Passan talking again about the Mariners, talked about their poor hitting with runners in scoring position.
I mean, if we want to take this further, the Mariners have the worst batting average with runners in scoring position in baseball this year at 139. They are slugging 167. Also the worst in baseball. And the reality is, I know I don't want to small sample you because I don't like doing that. It feels like a crutch. It feels like a cop-out. But we're only 11 games into the season. And I feel like this sort of thing tends to, like runners in scoring position, you have your outliers every year. And the teams that are really good at it sometimes make a playoff run that was unexpected. And teams that are really bad at it might actually be good teams otherwise. But there's no rhyme or reason. There's no method to the madness.
So just sort of emphasizing they're horrible with runners in scoring position so far through 11 games. So saying on one hand, yes, it's early, but I don't want to use that as a crutch to not say this is dreadful because it is. And then he went on to explain why coaching is key when it comes to improving runners in scoring position.
I don't know that this is going to be a year where the Mariners with runners in scoring position are historically atrocious. They sure have been for 11 games. And that's the sort of thing where it comes back to coaching, right? It comes back to just an extreme emphasis on, hey, we need to understand jobs that need to get done, and we need to go out and execute. And they have not been able to do it at this point.
Yeah, I'm curious as to, what are some of those things as far as coaching goes.
I don't know. I don't know what they're telling them now versus what they were hearing before. And maybe it's unique to each hitter. Everybody's not functioning the same way or receives messages the same way, or everybody's got different strengths and they struggle with different pitches. And so, you got to be counselor to each and every one of these guys on an individual basis.
Yeah, and in every different situation. So I don't know. I'm curious. That one kind of intrigued me, that quote from him. But I'm sure that there's plenty of baseball people that could say you could take this approach and, do this, maybe the laying down bunts, trying to go opposite field, whatever. I don't know. They're just not getting it done at all, though. And so
horrible.
I don't understand.
Dreadful.
Yeah.
What do you call them? Historically bad or whatever he said. Yeah, it's just, it is 11 games, but this is what we've got to go on so far. That element of their game must improve. To state the very obvious, it must get better than that. You cannot expect to do anything resembling a run toward the playoffs if that's how you function with runners in scoring position.
You say 137?
Yeah.
Wow. Just for the record, that's not good.
It's really bad. Really bad. So we'll see. We'll see I'll just be interested to see if this continues in this range. What's the appetite for the fan base with it? Because I think there's a hesitation in being critical of Edgar or Dan. They're Mariner royalty, So I think they get a little bit more leeway. They get a little bit more slack than anybody else, whether it was, Brant Brown or whether it was Jarrett DeHart or, the fans don't have any attachment to those guys. So I think they feel pretty free and swinging at them. Whereas these guys are going to be a little more reluctant, but we'll see if it continues. Meanwhile, is one part of the Seahawks strong culture also the reason why departures are difficult? We're going to get into that next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
The Cal Raleigh Show.
Belted way out of here to right field. Holy smokes.
Every Thursday with Shannon Dreyer on Wyman and Bob.
Seattle has been nothing but good to me. I would love nothing more to play for one team my whole career.
Listen live on the Seattle Sports app or find the video on YouTube.
Cal Raleigh with a walk-off home run.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
47,000 fans are going crazy.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com. Right now, have beautiful, ultra-efficient, clean technology windows installed and pay $0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 18 months. Only from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. And they'll even pay your sales tax. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
To me, the LJ way is to provide an experience that people really enjoy being a part of. And they enjoy being a part of it because they're getting great service. They're talking with somebody that actually they feel cares about them. They care about what their impression is going to be walking away. It's also understanding you're now part of our family, and thank you for doing the business with us. And this is how we're going to show our appreciation through customer service. We're going to show our appreciation with taking care of you if you ever have an issue. Majority of the people that are coming to see us are within our community. These are people who are providing maybe services that we also use in our community. So the LJ way, to me, somebody can come into a retail setting and not feel like they got to have their guard up. And that's been a long-standing thing in the car business that, we've tried to shake.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news and stats to placing bets in just a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. That's JOEQ, Joe Q. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, the news surrounding Victor Robles is not awesome, but we'll see how it goes. He's got a small fracture in the humeral head of his left shoulder. He'll miss at least 12 weeks and potentially the entire season if he needs surgery. Now, Justin Hollander is saying that the team believes Robles, who had an MRI, does not need surgery at this time, but will continue to monitor the injury. Now, if he avoids surgery, the team estimated it would take 6 weeks for the fracture to heal, another 6 of rehab before he returned to action, and if surgery is eventually required, he would be expected to miss the remainder of the season. So fingers crossed on that one. Meanwhile, Mariners get back to it tonight, Game 2 of their series with the Houston Astros, and they're going to send Luis Castillo, the Rock, to the hill. He'll face off against Framber Valdez. You can catch all of the action of that one right here on Seattle Sports, starting at 5:30 with the pregame show, 6:40 first pitch.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. You guys can weigh in on whatever is going on, whatever we're talking about, whatever we're not talking about, whatever you want to do. It's right there.
Don't tell them to ask what we're not talking about, because people are going to get... Now, it's not a request line, okay? By the way, that's when you know you're a baseball guy. When you call an MRI an RBI.
I know.
I loved it. Bob's got baseball on the mind.
I know. He underwent an MRI. So, yeah, I like his RBIs much better.
Yes.
So, yeah, you guys can weigh in on whatever. 866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. Looking at the Seahawks, and some of the story yesterday was about, Geno Smith. He had his press conference, and, he had his interview with Albert Breer, and, intimated that he felt disrespected by the Seahawks offer and all of that. And then there was some, there was some back and forth. I thought, Brock had a tweet that I retweeted out there, and Brock said in his tweet, he said, Geno Smith felt, and then in quotes, disrespected. He said, John Schneider put his legacy on the line, trading Russell Wilson and empowering Geno in ways no one else ever did, paying him many, many millions, too. I don't think the disrespect card is the one to play Geno, but that's just me. And I agree with Brock. I agree. Now we don't know what was contained in the offer, and I had this back and forth with Big Ray on Twitter, as he likes to do. But I was watching the Mariner game, so I just elected to stop responding because I was watching the game. But he was basically
Ray was trying to distract you from watching your Mariner game.
He was, and you can tell when Ray wants to debate. He just wants to get into it, and I was just like, I'm watching a game, and then plus there's the national title game, and there's the Mariner game. I got a lot going on here. I don't have, I'm not into the the minutia of, well, this is how he felt. Well, I know he felt that way. That doesn't make it true. That's how he felt, essentially. We don't know.
Yeah, but if he feels it, it's real.
Then it's real. He's Costanza, if you believe it. It's not a lie. If you believe it, Dave, it's not a lie.
Well, yeah.
So I don't know. Could he have? I don't have any doubt he felt disrespected by the offer. Mm-hmm. He clearly said as much in the interview. And Albert Breer was on with Brock and Salk, and here he is just talking about that because he's the one that did the interview and talked about Geno saying he felt disrespected by the Hawks.
You know, I think that word can be a little bit of a moving target sometimes, Mike, and I think that's sort of what you're getting at, right? Like, you know, I think he felt like he had earned the right to have some security, and he had to go year to year for what, like 5 years in a row, something like that, right? Like where he was on one-year deals year after year after year. You know, wins the starting job, he's on a one-year deal that year. And so I think for him, a huge part of it was more than even just the money. It was, and the money is always a factor. I'm not saying it isn't, but it was, I want to know that you're building around me for the next couple of years. And I think when the Seahawks didn't do that, which of course is their right too, you know, you kind of look at it like, okay, like, well, like now I got to kind of look around.
It's kind of been that's how they operate. I don't think there was anything unique with Geno that we're giving all these guarantees to these other players, but we're not going to give them to you. That's just kind of how they've operated with Sam Darnold. We talked about the deal he just signed. It's essentially a one-year deal if they want to get out of it. If he comes out here and he's just terrible, they've set it up to where they can get out of it. That's just how they operate. So, the implication was that, I saw some on social media like, oh, give the white quarterback this, the black quarterback gets that. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? They've had a black starting quarterback since 2011. What are you talking about? It's the most ignorant statement I've ever seen. And he got a deal that's just as much of a one-year situation they could get out of, talking about Darnold, is whatever. Now, we don't know what. I mean, Geno knows what he was offered, certainly. We don't know the particulars. What was guaranteed, what wasn't. We saw the tweet, weeks and weeks ago from Bob Condotta about, his sources telling me, I think, a 2-year offer at somewhere between 40 to 45 a year. How much was guaranteed? No idea. No idea. But they have a formula. They have a policy, if you will, that they just stick to regardless. So you can be mad at the Seahawks because that's just how they handle their business.
Right.
But they're consistent in it. Is what I'll say.
Yeah, and I think that that consistency comes largely from John Schneider, and that's the way that he's kind of been brought up. He'll tell you a lot about like Ron Wolf, who was the GM for the Packers, and how he kind of came up in that Packer system, and that they have things. And then you've got Pete Carroll and his. So I think people mistook kind of those two guys. I mean, they're obviously were working together enough so that they went to the playoffs 10 times and, Super Bowl championship and all that. But, I think John has one way of doing business, and Pete, Pete got to be the good cop.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, John always had to be the bad cop. The disrespect part of it, I think almost every player, I mean, there's hardly any. I felt disrespected at the end, right? Why didn't Mike Shanahan ask me back for just to try out, just to have a tryout?
Because he's disrespectful.
He disrespected me, Bob. But I mean, look, it's a very passionate game, and and when you get somebody who's a passionate guy like Geno, yeah, of course that's not going to work out well. And also the fact that he's got an opportunity to go and be back with Pete, who put his trust in him and everything. But I mostly agree with Brock there. The older I get, the more I'm more on the side of management, and even for me, I'm like, well, of course he didn't sign you back, Dave, in Denver, Mike Shanahan. Of course he didn't. I mean, I was 32 years old, and I'd had like every single kind of surgery that you could have.
Yeah.
And we want to get younger, and we want to get faster. So, of course. But at the time, that didn't make sense to me.
Right.
And so, I mean, I think that everybody is going to feel that way. It's a very passionate game. You put your body on the line. You literally do that. I mean, that happens every once in a while in baseball or basketball, but you
just happened with Robles.
Yeah. But
he put his body on the line, and he paid the price.
Absolutely did. And that guy can run down on my kickoff team anytime he wants because that was badass. I mean, people might say it's dumb because he weren't running in there and he should have been more careful.
Tie game, bottom of the ninth.
I love it. I love it. So, I mean, I'm sorry you got hurt, but yeah, I mean, that's the sort of the nature of football. So, yeah, of course, at the end, you're going to feel disrespected. And I don't know that I used that word, but I was pissed off.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that, why is this happening to me? And, and I'd have dreams for like I remember 3 years later, I had this dream where, the Super Bowl team, their linebacker goes down. They give me a call. I get to go in there and play. I mean, it was all fantasy. But, it's just
You're like Willis Reed. You come hobbling onto the field. Here comes Dave Wyman for one last run.
And then I would have these dreams where I would, get on a team and I'm like, oh, I can't play because I forgot my socks or something like that.
You say you had dreams you were strangling Shanahan.
Yeah, that was probably more of a dream than a nightmare. No, but I forgive him. Obviously, I hated him for a long time, but that's just kind of how it goes. That's the nature of football. So it's a business. It comes down to that.
And that was my point with Ray. I don't doubt Gino feels that way. He's entitled to feel that way. He's the one on the inside. He knows the particulars. I don't know what he was expecting versus what they offered.
Yeah.
But he's entitled to feel that way. That doesn't necessarily make it true. It's like me saying, well, Dave, you're being a jerk to me right now. That's how I feel. That doesn't mean you're actually being a jerk. That's just how I feel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's so you're entitled to feel that way, but from the outside looking in, we're looking at, all right, well, this happened. Here's what they said. Here's what he did. Here's what they did. It looks to me like it's been fair, and they've been consistent, more importantly. You might think overall just the way they deal with any player is not the right way to do it. That's fair. That's fine.
Yeah.
But as long as they're consistent in it, it's sort of like a bad ump behind the plate.
Right.
He's not going to give you the outside low and away. He's going to call this pitch up and in. Well, as long as he's consistent, pitchers will deal with it, and hitters will deal with it. If that's your strike zone, make it your strike zone. Be consistent.
Good comparison. Yeah.
It's the same thing with this. Hey, if they treat Gino the same way as they treated, DK, as they treated Tyler, as they treated Bobby, as they treated all. As long as they're consistent, at least you know what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So you can love it or hate it. Totally up to you. You're totally within your rights to feel a certain type of way about it, Dave. But if they're consistent in how they treat each player, then that's just this organization, man. That's how it goes.
Yeah. Well, and everybody also, like the Bobby Wagner thing. I mean, I think that there was a disconnect there because, he thought he didn't handle the whole thing right.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a disadvantage because Bobby didn't have an agent.
Right.
So they would have had to tell Bobby, they would have had to given away the information that's part of the negotiation, because he doesn't have that buffer there. So, there's all kinds of different ways and things that happen. And so now, I mean, it becomes a discussion topic because Gino's saying it. Why did DK not want to be here? And then you start going back to Richard Sherman and the things that he said. And, he wanted to be traded at one point, when he was at the height of his career.
Yeah.
And I think the conversation went, I want to be traded. No. Why not? Because I'm in charge of trades and I don't want to trade you. So, I mean, those are the kinds of things that happen. And, you've had a lot of success with a lot of these really good players. Remember, Richard Sherman was a 5th rounder.
Yeah.
And when I watched him at Stanford, he wasn't that good. I'm sorry. And he ended up being one of the best corners in NFL history.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's.
Well, he's also of the belief that the team should just hang on to players forever.
Yeah.
Until it's like, again, I'd love for him to be a GM of a team and have to deal with the salary cap and deal with competing each year. And you've got that 33-year-old vet who's been great for you. You loved him, but he slowed down. He's not quite the player he was, and he's making a boatload of money. What are you going to do, Richard?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You love him.
Right.
He's your guy, but, I mean, it's the downside of this business. It's cutthroat. It's cold. We talked about the Patriots for years. They were notorious for their thing, get rid of a player a year early as opposed to a year late.
Yep.
And it worked out for them. I'm not saying it's the right way, but that was their way, and it was known. If you play for the Patriots, here's what you're in store for.
Right.
And Albert Breer was asked whether he feels the Seahawks are fair in the way that they part with players.
Yeah, I would say they're really fair. I mean, I think, like, you look at the DK thing, that thing could have gotten very, very ugly. And you guys know how these things work with, like, players getting their pride hurt. I mean, these are high-level athletes who in a lot of cases, rightfully so, like, feel like, the elite of the elite. And so to be told you can't play here anymore can be a tough thing for an athlete to deal with. And I even think to the Russell Wilson thing and, like, how that could have been really ugly. And I think the last couple of years you saw, I had a pretty good vantage point of like how ugly those situations got in Denver and Pittsburgh with Russ, and how many people were in those buildings were turned off, and like how the exit was really not good. And then I think of Seattle and like all of the history there and everything that had built up over the years, and like it actually like was relatively clean.
Yeah, I mean,
he's talking about his exit from here.
From Seattle.
Yeah.
Relatively clean. I mean, Denver was a debacle. I don't really know. Was Pittsburgh bad? Are there hard feelings in Pittsburgh?
I wasn't aware of that until I heard that. But
yeah, I mean, I feel like they've been. It doesn't mean everybody's happy. I don't expect any player to be happy when they're told they're not coming back. I don't expect that at all, as he just said. But all I would ask as a player or an employee is just be consistent. Apply the same philosophy, the same rules to that guy that you apply to me, that you apply to them, like just across the board. Just be consistent in how you conduct your business, and that way everybody knows what the deal is.
Yeah. But I mean, I just think what happens for players, their judgment gets clouded. And I would say the same thing for me as well. I mean, you put all this time in, you develop, and then all of a sudden they just don't want you. I remember going to Chuck Knox one time, and I got hurt. I was the starter, and then I got hurt. And then I came back, and I was ready to go, and they wouldn't start me. And I'm like, well, what happened to the old, rule that you can't lose your starting job to an injury?
Right.
And the fact was that my play at the time I was getting right when I got hurt was on the decline. And so I wasn't playing well. So, and he's like, well, those aren't really hard or fast rules. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? I thought but he's trying to run a team, and he's trying to put the best player out on the field. So, yeah, I mean, it's just deeply personal to the players. And
right.
I think that, when you get older, you start to kind of understand the business side of it. You would probably do the same thing, like I said about Mike Shanahan, or I'm sure that, and I don't know that Richard Sherman, he's a very stubborn guy. Maybe he's never going to get square with the way that John Schneider handled things. But,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, most players will.
Yeah. One more from Albert before we switch topics here. But he was talking about, in that story, they talked about how Gino had been talking to Pete throughout the entire season, and he would kind of use him as a counselor. He would call him when he was frustrated about whatever he was frustrated about. Pete was sort of the sounding board for him. Albert talking about how he wondered how McDonald felt when he found out that Gino had been venting to Pete all last season.
It's kind of interesting. The one thing I did think about, like when I was talking to him through it, was like I was kind of like, and when I was writing it, I was like, you kind of wonder if you're Mike, like what it would feel like to be Mike McDonald in that situation too. You know what I mean? When you hear this stuff and hear that like your quarterback was talking to the head coach who you replaced, it's kind of a weird, different dynamic that I think obviously in most cases doesn't arise, because most times when NFL coaches get fired or leave, they're going to another NFL team, and these sorts of conversations would constitute tampering. But obviously in this case it did.
Mm-hmm. Kind of an interesting dynamic. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if Mike loved that or didn't care or whatever. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if it's like you're cheating on me. Like
I know.
You're talking to your ex.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a bizarre situation. I didn't really know that Pete was. If you'd asked me, I would have thought Pete was not coming back. That he's not going to come back and be a coach in the NFL. But so maybe at that time he thought it was okay. But yeah, if you're Mike McDonald,
it was.
Yeah,
it's not tampering, as he said. He wasn't employed by another team.
Right. I think if you're Mike McDonald, you probably have the right to feel a certain type of way.
Type of way. There you got it, Dave. Now you're hip with the kids.
Yeah, there we go.
Kids like it now. Looking at the Mariners last night, again, big win. That was huge, and hopefully they'll just go ahead and knock it out tonight and make my prediction right of at least 2-1 in the 3-game series. But we were talking during the break, and those that were there or watched on TV, it was a pretty sparse crowd. Yeah. It was listed at the announced attendance was 19,383. I'm going to go ahead and say there weren't that many people.
I'm going to take the under on that.
I'm going to take the way under on that. And that surprised me a bit. Now, look, I know the weather was bad, but you got a roof. I know it's early in the season. Maybe there are people staying home to watch the national title game, perhaps. Maybe this is carryover from those fans that said, you know what, I don't like what you didn't do in the offseason. I'm not spending money. Maybe it's some of that. I thought there'd be a bigger crowd just based on it being the Astros. I get it's a weeknight. They don't do as well as weekend games, certainly when the weather's great. All of that I understand. But it was still even lighter than I could have imagined for the Astros coming to town.
Yeah.
Did it seem like that to you?
The boos for Altuve were just way too low, the volume there. Couldn't really hear it.
I could hear them. The people that were there did their part. I give them their credit for that. There just weren't that many people there.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering why that is. Why is it a bit of everything I just said? The weather, national title game. People are still mad about the offseason. People are mad about the way the team started. It's a weeknight. I'm curious for those, again, that would otherwise go to these games and you elected not to. Why? Why did you not go?
Yeah, I think that your typical Seattle fan is hard to win over. And so I do think that it's kind of I don't know that it's necessarily they're mad about the offseason. It's that they're going to kind of wait and see because they don't want to get their hearts broken.
So it's all protection mechanism here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's kind of.
I don't want to get hurt again.
Exactly. I think that's the main thing. And we got the biggest signal ever on that emotion after Super Bowl 49.
Yeah,
I mean, people just stopped listening. And if that had been in Philly or New York, we've talked about this a number of times. But if that play had happened against the Eagles or the Giants, people would have been calling in to talk radio or sports talk radio for months.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it would, your listenership, everything would go up. And here in Seattle, just a different culture, different kind of fan. And they were like, don't want to hear about it. They should have ran the ball. They should have gave the ball to beast mode. Yep. That's it. That's all I know.
That's the end of discussion.
Done.
I don't want to hear your rationale for why they didn't because It's not true. It's not.
Exactly.
I already know what happened. I don't need to hear your take on it. Yeah,
I don't care if they had goal line personnel and we were in 11 personnel. Doesn't matter.
Nope.
Yeah.
You're right. It is. Maybe it is just the uniqueness of the Seattle fan. But I can't blame the cynical fan or the fan that says, you know what, I'm done. I'm waiting and seeing. I can't blame, especially if they've been season ticket holders year after year after year, and you've been spending your money, and tickets keep getting. They don't get cheaper.
Yeah.
Those tickets don't get cheaper. So, if they're mad about what the team didn't do in the offseason, I can't blame them. I was mad about what they didn't do. Yeah. And I'm not a season ticket holder, so I don't blame them.
But it depends on what you focus on. I mean, if you focus on the fact that they locked up Julio, and look, I think that people are still texting in. He's not a star. He's just not. He's not a superstar. But you locked up Cal, which everybody loves. Hopefully that will help happen with Logan Gilbert. But they've done a good job at investing in their young guys and developing them, and there's a lot to like as far as that goes. And I'll be interested to see who are some of these, on this next tier of maybe it'll be position players that instead of pitchers, but they've done a great job with that, and I feel like now signing Cal and you kind of feel like that means something for Logan Gilbert, that they're starting to lock those guys up. I think that there's a lot to like.
Yeah. Last question. You guys could text it in 866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. If you are one of those fans that are saying, I'm not going, I'm staying away from the park, what's it going to take to bring you back? Is it this team getting on a hot streak? All of a sudden they rip off 10 out of 12 wins, 10 wins out of 12 games? Does it need to be more than that? What is it that brings you back if you're somebody that's actively saying, I'm sitting this out?
How about offense? How about offense?
Well, that would be helpful.
You were talking about the Giant series.
Yeah,
and
that was dreadful.
I mean, they got swept, but at least they got some people on base.
They did have traffic.
Yeah.
They just had a hard time pushing them across, except for the first game. They did put up 9 runs.
Yeah.
All right, coming up, what looms is the biggest question mark for the Mariners right now? We're going to get into that next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
The Cal Raleigh Show.
Belted way out of here to right field. Holy smokes.
Every Thursday with Shannon Dreyer on Wyman and Bob.
Seattle has been nothing but good to me. I would love nothing more to play for one team my whole career.
Listen live on the Seattle Sports app or find the video on YouTube.
Cal Raleigh with a walk-off home run.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
47,000 fans are going crazy.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity.
So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah. Posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Pizza Hut's fan favorite Cheesy Bites pizza is back. For just $15.99, get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable cheese-filled bites. Plus the new Ranch Lovers Flight with ultimate chipotle and pepperoni ranch dips. Order now at pizzahut.com.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news and stats to placing bets in just a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. That's JOEQ, Joe Q. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news! The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to VaxAssist.com and schedule today. That's VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? What if you could create more impact in every decision? What if you had a partner as visionary as you are? With Bank of America, you get access to our trusted experts, real-time insights, and digital tools. So whether you run a local shop or a global enterprise, you're backed by business solutions to make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
For many of us, it's happening. Your hair is thinning. Your crown is disappearing. Hair loss had me feeling like I was losing my identity altogether. Well, I've got some good news. It's a simple one-day treatment that worked for me. The Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. It starts growing new hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly memberships. Those can help retain what you have. But what if you want your own natural hair in specific areas like I did? You decide how how much, how thick, and where. From advanced hair's state-of-the-art facilities to the world-class leading doctors like Dr. Perungo, it's not a maybe your hair will grow. It's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 425-449-8185. Advanced Hair is the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and they are the team that I personally recommend. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine, and you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you, 866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. A lot of texts coming in, Dave, as to why people didn't go to the game.
Yeah.
This one said, I missed last night's Mariners game to listen to fax machine dial-up noise. I come back when they have a team batting average higher than my drunken beer league softball team. So far, we're 0-14.
Come on. Slow pitch softball?
They're 0-14. Maybe they're drinking too much. Too much drinking, not enough hitting.
The beer is for after the game, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joe in Spokane, maybe people aren't going to the Mariners game because their 401ks just got wiped out. Okay, yeah, maybe people are a little leery of spending some money right now. I can certainly relate to that. I watched more of the game than I watched more of the game last night. Then I watched the NCAA championship game. I love baseball, but it's really hard to love the Mariners. All right. Well, yeah, it's a lot of people are talking about, I'm not going to invest my money into a company that won't invest back until ownership authorizes Jerry to spend enough to land a real bat in free agency or make a big name trade this year. I won't buy any tickets, merch, or anything else from the M's.
The one thing that bothers me about that, and I'm not trying to be like a homer or anything like that, but, it kind of nullifies the whole Cal thing. Like, they're not investing in the team. Well, they are. They just spent $108 million on a really good catcher and, a platinum glove award winner. So, you can look at it that way. Look at it the negative side. Or, if they had done that during the offseason, do you think it would have made it feel a little bit better?
No,
I
think
they would have timed it up.
I think people love Cal, and I think, and I'll go ahead and speak for every fan. I think they love Cal, and they appreciate that they locked him up. That's the right move. I don't think anybody was looking at that in a negative way. I think the problem still remains. He was part of it last. You need more than just him. You need more than what you've had, and you didn't add.
So and he even asked for it.
Yeah,
to your point.
Yeah, so you love that. I think there are two separate conversations. You love that they locked this guy up. You love that they locked that guy up, but you didn't add. You're not helping them. Right. You're not. You're paying them more. You didn't make your team necessarily any better because they're the same pieces. You need new pieces. You need more pieces, and you didn't do that. So I think they're two separate things. By the way, speaking of Cal.
What is Dave staring at?
He's staring at Cal's butt.
All right, I'm going to.
It's right in front of him, strategically placed right in front of him. Don't miss your chance to grab a Cal Raleigh Platinum Glove bobblehead. The first 10,000 fans tonight and tomorrow will score this limited edition must-have souvenir. Go to mariners.com/tickets for more info.
And please look at the stream.
There's the big dumper right there.
Now he's got it facing
That way I don't have to look at it.
Now Matt and Lefko have the view of it.
So actually, Cal and Logan did something pretty funny. The Mariners put out that they showed them that, and they were discussing the bobblehead. It's worth taking a watch. because I think we all had the same reaction.
It is. I'm not a big bobblehead guy, but it is pretty cool looking. The detail on it, from what I can tell.
It is cool. Got the platinum glove there, and I don't know. He has something on his chest protector, doesn't he?
That's the Rawlings logo's in platinum.
Yeah. How about that?
Do they have it on the bobblehead that way?
I don't see it. No,
Don't break it, Dave.
I don't want to touch it.
Don't even look at it. It can't be touched. So yeah, you guys can get yours tonight and tomorrow night. First 10,000 fans will get one of these, and it actually is pretty cool looking. They did a nice job on it.
Do you think they put a little extra in the dumper area? It looks like.
Well, I'm looking at the side of it. It looks like they might have. Yeah. Looks like they might have.
Good portrayal there.
Tried to keep it realistic.
There you go, Matt. It's smiling at you.
There you go.
The vertical smile.
Oh, boy. So there you go. That's happening tonight and tomorrow night. If you didn't get your Cal Raleigh Platinum Glove bobblehead, they'll be available tonight and tomorrow. Meanwhile, what's the biggest positional question mark on this team right now? What do you think it is? Because now you got a question as to who your leadoff hitter is. Last night it was Julio. Today it's Dylan Moore. I would imagine it's going to be a rotation. I don't really know what Dan's thinking there. Like, hey, let's try out a few of these guys and see who sticks, or hey, we're just going to keep it fluid. Who knows what the plan is. But you got a question at your leadoff spot. You've got a question in right field, essentially, without Robles. So we're just addressing his absence, Robles. You got to create a problem at leadoff and right field.
Yeah, half the problems.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess Raley is going to be your right fielder, along with Canzone is there. They called him up. So you got another platoon. There's so many opportunities for platoons. So you got it in right field now. You don't really know about third base. Is Polanco going to be given a bunch of opportunity there? Or are they going to feel like, hey, let's limit the wear and tear on him and just keep him as our DH? Is it going to be Dylan Moore or a platoon of Moore and Solano? Or you don't really – and then you got your setup situation in the bullpen until Brash comes back. Santos looked good in one game, did not look good last night. So is he your guy? Is he your bridge to Munoz? Or is that a fluid situation? So you got some question marks with this team right now.
Yeah, they need to work out some of the bullpen issues, but I feel pretty good about that. And Trent Thornton, we talked about this yesterday with Ryan Rowland-Smith. He did a top step thing, tried to make that not Australian.
Top
step.
Hey, how's your bracket looking now?
But they did an interview of I think it was Spire, Thornton, and Saucedo, and Thornton is just a dialed in kid, man. I just loved what he said and the way that he talked about how the bullpen coaches they just empower you. And they bring out what's best in you. So I guess if we had to rank them, that's the one I think the setup men in the bullpen that I worry about the least, just because I feel like a lot of that it really is coaching and just getting guys in the right position. But the problem with Robles is, like you said, I mean, he's such an effective leadoff hitter. Feel like he's like the profile of what you want, a guy that's kind of pesky, gets on base, and he's not going to sit around and look at a bunch of pitches. And then once he gets on the base paths, what do you have, 4 steals? I think
he had 3
0 caught steals. He only had 1 last year and 30 steals. So I think that's the biggest problem right there is just Robles, replacing him. And like you said, Bob, we're kind of wondering with him, is he going to be the guy that, it's not fair to expect him to be the guy that he was last year, but he kind of was headed that way. And
he was trending that way. Yeah, certainly.
And then he gets hurt. And then all of a sudden you realize what you've been talking about, that there really is just no margin for error or injuries or anything.
Yeah, it's they're being tested early, and it's certainly concerning with Robles. Just being, is it going to be 12 weeks? Is it going to be the season? We're going to find out. With Polanco, I don't know. He's a guy who's been an injury guy through his career too, and we talked about it with both these guys about just their availability. And Polanco, we certainly didn't know he was going to be hitting like this, but part of his story even before this was he's just been an injury guy. He was injured last year with the Mariners. Obviously, it led to a down season. They didn't re-sign him. He was out there to be had. Nobody went after him, so the Mariners bring him back, and so far it's paid off on the offensive side. But he's now missing, the third game in out of the last 4. Yeah. So is this just going to be what we're in store for? Is this about they said it wasn't his knee, it was his oblique or his side was hurting, from something he did in one game. So whatever it is, he's just been that guy, unfortunately, in his career. So is this kind of what we need to be in store for? He's not going to be available. He's going to be, maybe you get 110 games out of him, and he's going to miss 52. I don't know what their expectations are, or what realistically is a good expectation for him. But
yeah,
you got spots to fill. So what do you do when he's not there? If he continues to hit, it becomes a big deal when he's not there, because of the other guys who are not hitting.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, how many games did he miss because of the paternity leave? Was it 2?
Just
was it a couple, 3 maybe?
Well, but the last one he missed was because of it wasn't paternity.
Yeah,
it was his side or whatever his issue is.
Which that worries you, because that wasn't even part of the problem.
No. It was a new problem.
But I remember when the exchange happened, we talked to somebody in Minnesota about a Twin beat writer, and he was talking about how Polanco is one of those guys that needs to be held back.
Yeah.
Like, he's a tough guy, and he'll try to play through things. So, when you start hearing, oh, no, now it's his side, and oh, no, it's his knee, and this and that, you got to remember that he is one of those guys that, the trainers have to shut him down.
All right, coming up, there could be an uncertain future for one quarterback and his NFL team. We're going to hear about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up with Wyman and Bob, this is Seattle Sports on 710.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Which Seahawks offensive lineman will have the biggest jump in 2025?
I think it's going to be Chris Haynes. The more I watch his film, the more I understand the offense, I think that this fits him. I think everyone's going to improve. I think my man's going to improve, Gerald's going to improve. But the way he plays the game now fits this type of offense. If Kubiak were here last year, Chris Haynes would have gotten more opportunity.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Swedish Cyberknife is expanding. Hey, it's Dave Wyman here with the exciting news from our friends at Swedish. They're adding a second Cyberknife, so patients can now receive Cyberknife treatment at Swedish Cherry Hill and the First Hill campuses. And as many 710 listeners already know, Cyberknife is a non-invasive, non-surgical treatment for prostate cancer with proven results. Cyberknife uses advanced technology to track your slightest body movements while adjusting in real time to deliver radiation with extreme precision. The result, healthy surrounding tissue and organs are spared from radiation. And the end result, excellent long-term cancer control and significantly reduced side effects. Compared with other radiation therapies, which sometimes last 6 to 9 weeks, the Cyberknife treatment period is typically only 5 days, and each session lasts less than an hour. So when diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment with Swedish Cyberknife. Go to swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind zero-turn and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel. Let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner.
Did you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
4 Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Hundreds of vehicles on the ground, 8 dealerships, 14 brands, all in one location. Visit West Hills Autoplex. We have more brands in one location than anywhere else in Washington State, import or domestic, new or pre-owned. We make finding your perfect vehicle easy, and that means a remarkable car buying experience for you. Skip the hassle with West Hills' streamlined buying experience and feel confident buying from your neighborhood family-owned dealerships. West Hills Autoplex, Auto Centerway exit, Highway 3, Bremerton.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Bull riding, the perfect fusion of strength, skill, and pure willpower. Professional bull riders aren't just athletes. They're daredevils with cowboy souls. Come experience the true modern West, where 8 seconds of glory will create a lifetime of memories. It's the PBR Tacoma at Tacoma Dome, Saturday, April 26th and Sunday, April 27th. Tickets available at Ticketmaster and PBR.com. Hold on tight. The ride of your life is about to begin.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Brian Bliss had the big 2-run homer last night, and after the game, he was talking about one key aspect of a prior at bat that led him to be in position to hit that home run.
I definitely logged it. I did remember the first at bat. He started with a heater in. I just missed it. Was on it, and I told myself if he throws it again, just be ready for it. And literally, I just went up there. Hey, I may get this pitch right here. Just be ready, and I did. And put a good swing on it, and this one left.
Pretty amazing that you could just sort of say, all right, if he throws that again, I'm going to square it up.
Yeah.
Like just being that good. Like you and I could go out to a cage right now, and they're going to say, all right, I'm going to throw you an 80-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle. Here it comes, and we're just hoping to make contact. Much less, oh yeah, I'm just gonna eviscerate this thing.
Well, I know that was their number 5 starter, right?
Yeah.
So, but still, I mean, I like how he says in the beginning, I logged that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm gonna remember this one, and next time he tries to throw that, is that the inner voice of Kevin Costner and Bull Durham? It's like, throw me that.
Oh, throw me that cheese.
Meat.
Come on, meat.
Come on, meat.
Sweeping the dial.
Adam Schefter was on Unsportsmanlike, the morning show on ESPN Radio, and he was breaking down what didn't seem like a possibility at first, but was discussing why the Niners might not give Brock Purdy a long-term contract extension anytime soon.
Brock Purdy's under contract this year for $5.1 million. And then next year, the 49ers can tag him for $41 million. And then the year after, they can tag him again for $51 million. So if my math is correct, the 49ers technically control Brock Purdy's rights for the next 3 years and $97.1 million, roughly. 397.1. If you're the 49ers, why are you going to go pay Brock Purdy some crazy number when you control his rights like that?
Because I would assume they would want to spread out that money. Because he's talking about, what do you say the numbers were? 41 and
51.
51.
Yeah.
You don't spread that out. That is a direct hit to the cap, whereas when you sign the extensions, obviously, and he knows that better than anybody, they sit there and manipulate it, and all right, this only counts as $1 million against our cap this year, and next year it's I mean, they just, the way they work their magic with the salary cap is ridiculous. So that would be the instant thought for me is, well, those in a tag situation, you don't get that opportunity. If it's a $51 million salary, it counts as $51 million against your cap.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, that it's one way to manage it, but, I think it's interesting just in general. I mean, Brock Purdy, great player. Now they're calling him Mr. Relevant instead of Mr. Irrelevant. That's what his nickname is on Pro Football Reference anyway, because he was the last pick of the draft. But, yeah, 7th round, 262nd overall pick in the 22 draft. But your point is to the salary cap. Nobody's ever gone through some tragic cut or something like that because of the salary cap. Like, oh my God, the salary cap got us. We had to go and do. I mean, I feel like it's certainly figured in at times, but like we've learned with Schneider. They're always able to find some way to free up the cash and manipulate. I'm not trying to say it's easy or anything, but it seems like no NFL team ever has gotten squeezed by that.
By the way, the texter's coming. Bob, if you and Dave were in a batting cage, you couldn't hit a beach ball off of a T-ball stand. Come on.
Didn't you hit a home run in the last softball game that you played in?
Yeah, I can hit.
So a softball's a little bit smaller than a beach ball.
Yeah, I think I'd have a good shot against that beach ball.
By the way, that's how the baseball looks to Jose Altuve.
A beach ball. And maybe Ryan Bliss, too.
Sweeping the dial.
By the way, also, real quick, I have some beef with Pro Football Reference, Dave, because they took down your picture and took down your nicknames. I don't know what's going on there.
They didn't. I didn't have any nicknames.
Yeah, it was Y Monster and Psycho. No, I just added that one.
But, I just added that one, Psycho.
What did they call you?
Norman.
Yeah, Norman.
Norman
right.
Bates.
So, they took down all that stuff. Anyway,
yeah, why'd they do that?
I don't know.
But you know what? It was in a Bronco jersey, the picture. Yeah. It was in a Bronco jersey.
All right, we got to fix that.
All right.
So, Kelvin Sampson, last night after the game, Houston's head coach, which crazy ending. Florida comes all the way back from 12 down in the second half. Houston has this failed play. They don't even get off a shot with 19 seconds left. And after the game, he explained what was supposed to happen on that final play.
We have a set where it's a stagger gate, and we thought if we could get Emmanuel to shot fake and get downhill. I have to look back at the film, and I don't know if the ball slipped out of his hands or Clayton had his back. Yeah, they probably should have shot faked that. Both those guys, Richard and Martin, both really good defensively. Clayton made a great play on that, but that's why you got to shot fake and get in the paint. Two's fine.
That's a bummer.
Yeah,
was that the guy you were saying you liked watching, or was that a different player?
No,
there's a player you isolated, or you
Cryer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Was it Cryer?
Yeah, and Cryer had a big first half. That Sharp had those. It's unfortunate. He had 2 turnovers on the final 2 possessions.
I was telling that one.
Yeah, they turned it over like 3 times within the last minute.
Yeah.
I was telling Lefko. Did you watch much of the game or highlights?
I watched more of the Mariner game.
Yeah,
but I was going back and forth.
Same, and it looked like a freaking wrestling match out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just the way they were. I felt like this is the one time where I'm like, I wish there wasn't so much contact. I mean, it used to be like more of a finesse game, I feel like, in between those two anyway. And I know they're both known as good defensive teams, but I mean, it was like I said, with the big guys especially, it was ridiculous what was going on there. I feel like you could have called a foul on every single play. And
isn't that what people want? They all want the refs to swallow the whistle.
Yeah, I guess. But man, people were just getting hacked right and left, and I would have punched somebody by then.
Yeah.
I mean, now the way the game's played, I mean, because look, I played football and it's all physical. Basketball, to me, is not supposed to be that physical. And you watch the way the big men were playing, especially. They were just hanging all over each other.
Yeah, they were letting them play.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like
Crazy.
it's one extreme or the whistle's going off every 2 seconds, or they just swallowed them. And in that case, it was very physical, but Houston kind of killed themselves in that game. You know, from what I saw, and I didn't see every moment of it, but just seeing the turnovers that happened in the last minute.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you can go to a million different – I know this kid's getting a lot of the heat, but –
Mike and I were talking, you know, if he goes ahead and shoots that shot, does it get blocked, do you think? And Mike was saying, hey, it could have gotten tipped and somebody grabs it, kind of like the North Carolina State play back in 1983.
Also over Houston, ironically.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
But anyway.
I don't know. I felt bad because he's taken a lot of heat. And I'm like, you know, there are a lot of things that led up to your demise prior to that. To put it all on that one moment. Yeah, I get it. You want to get that shot off, but the turnovers, you can go to missed free throws. You can go to a million different moments within a game that you didn't execute that led to losing by 2 points. So there you go. All right. Charlie Furbush, former Mariner reliever, part of a collective no-hitter out here in Seattle, by the way. How about that? He's going to join us in studio here for the next hour. So there's plenty to discuss with him as it pertains to this Mariners team. That is coming your way next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk. Weekdays 6 to 10.
Talk to our man in San Diego, Daniel Jeremiah.
Home run pick for an interior offensive lineman to fit these Seahawks and plug-and-play starter day one is
Grace Abel. The ability to get out in space and do things second level and pull them and just give you the versatility. Plus, he's got legit 5-position flex. I thought he would be just a tremendous value for him.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet, but we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is, like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found at G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, well, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just a bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet? RV wins! Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach? RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, you know, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, dream engagement rings are our specialty. We have the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds, hand-picked in every price range, ready to compare side by side. Shop online at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity.
So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement. Book a free estimate online, and when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. It's Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
Testing.
We are live from Chick-fil-A.
This is Grant.
And this is Laura.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that sweet bun.
And that chicken filet was perfectly crispy and soft at the same time.
And that Smokehouse Barbecue sauce, it's a lot of fun. And the brown sugar bacon definitely had a little bit more pizzazz. Also, the Mac, one of the all-time greats. Man, I'm getting hungry.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and a Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind zero-turn and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, the tough news for the Mariners, in case you missed it, Victor Robles has a small fracture in the humeral head of his left shoulder, and he's going to miss at least 12 weeks, potentially the entire season if he needs surgery. Now, Justin Hollander, speaking today, believes Robles, who had an MRI, does not need surgery, but time will tell. If he avoids surgery, the team estimated it would take 6 weeks for the fracture to heal, another 6 weeks of rehab before he returned to action. Now, if surgery is eventually required, he would be expected to miss the remainder of the season. Taking a look at your baseball scoreboard. First of all, Mariners get back to it tonight, Game 2 of their series against the Astros. Luis Castillo on the hill. You can hear all of that starting at 5:30 with the pregame show, 6:40 first pitch. Right now, the Mets are up 10-5 on the Marlins. That one in the bottom of the 8th. No score between the Pirates and the Cardinals in the top of the 2nd. The Nationals out to a 2-0 lead over the Dodgers in the top of the 2nd. Bottom of the 1st, no score between the Red Sox and the Blue Jays.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Mariners getting set for Game 2 of their series against the Houston Astros tonight. Luis Castillo on the hill. They're coming off a big win last night, and here to join us to talk all things Mariners, former Seattle Mariner reliever, part of a no-hitter out there at T-Mobile Park, the one, the only Charlie Furbush with us. How are you, man?
I am great. How are you guys today?
Good to have you back. And I'm glad we're talking to him after a win.
Yeah.
At least we got that. There was a lot of good. We opened the show with the good and the bad. We did all the good points of last night's game, and then some of you have to acknowledge the whole story. But I want to get your take on Logan last night. To me, my only sort of criticism is he just wasn't as efficient with his pitches. It would have been better to obviously see him go deeper. He got the pitch total racked up on him pretty quickly. But one hit, one mistake to Altuve, one run, 7 strikeouts. He looked fantastic.
You forgot the other part. One mistake to that little creep.
To that little creep, yeah. That little creep Altuve. But, I mean, outside of efficiency, you would like to have seen him be able to get into the seventh, hopefully, because that's just who he's been. But what'd you make of his performance?
Logan did great. Honestly, he continues to impress me, performance after performance, and his stuff just shows. He's lights out. It's amazing to watch his how he attacks hitters. I mean, one hit. Are you kidding me? That's amazing, right? I mean, to see where he picked up last year and had an incredible All-Star season, it seemingly is gonna. We're looking at another one in the making right now.
Shannon Dreher was kind of pointing this out on the dugout with Bump and Stacy, that Logan, right? And you've talked to him and everything. He's just so different on game day. Like, were you kind of that guy too, or did you like totally change moods? Because he's like, apparently he goes from like being the nicest guy in the world to just being an animal on the mound. And yeah, you can see a lot more of that this year. I feel like that's kind of a step that he's taken.
For sure. And no, I was not that way.
No.
You could talk to me. You could have jokes. I was way more relaxed and easygoing and wanted to engage with my teammates. And because, I didn't want to make it seem so special, especially when I was starting. Like, hey, everyone, watch out! I'm starting today. It's like, hey, we're all in the team together, right? We're all trying to get the job done. So, but what you realize through your own performance and experience is you figure out ways to, get yourself prepared to the highest degree. So, I'm sure there's been some trial and error over the time from when he got drafted to now of his starter's routine and how it's changed. So if he has realized time and time again that he needs to bring on a certain mentality game day and it's going to bring out the best in himself, then that's what he's going to do. So although he's not, a bad teammate, he just, hyper-focused, right? Like really focused at the task at hand. So
I like that you didn't inform the rest of the clubhouse. Hey, I'm starting today.
Yeah, don't say a word to me.
Don't make eye
touch
contact.
Me. Don't even look at me.
Yes. Don't even be my teammate today.
That's
okay?
right. That's right. I'm not
This
to
is
be
all
talked
about
to.
me. Yes.
Jeff Passan, who was on with the morning show, talked about Gilbert emerging as the ace of the rotation and how he built himself up to this point.
I wholeheartly agree with that sentiment. And what I appreciate about Logan Gilbert, among many things, is his evolution. When he got drafted, the idea was that his floor is going to be like an innings-eating starter, and that he, regardless of how he evolves, he's going to throw 175-plus innings every year, and it's going to be at least decent. But at least decent was not enough for him. His capacity to learn and his desire to better himself is what has made him into the pitcher that he is now.
What do you think of that? I mean, when you look at him, do you go, okay, if he can refine this part of his game or do this, then he's a perennial Cy Young contender, or do you think he's already there? Is there something in his game that you look at and say, just a little tweak on this aspect and he's there, or he's already there?
I think he's already there from the changes I've seen this year with the usage of his splitter.
Mm-hmm.
And his splitter is kind of an anomaly for how low spinning of a pitch it is, and being able to throw it 12 to 13 miles an hour off your fastball. It's been an incredible weapon that he's, I think, really increased the usage this year compared to last. So, when I look at the evolution of him, I would be shocked if the Mariners didn't already think that he had the capability to be a Cy Young winner. I mean, he's got the build, he's got the mentality and the aggressiveness of how he pitches. So I don't think that they looked at him as, hey, well, you're the 4 or 5 starter innings eater. Like, I really think that they believed, given where he was and how he was going to come into his own, that they had a real steal on their hands.
Yeah, who was it that was talking about the coaching when runners in scoring position?
That was Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff Passan. On the other side of that, would you pitch differently? Because I don't know. It just seemed like, hey, you're going to go up there with your best bet is to go up there with the same approach every time. But I don't know. I don't know really what he was talking about. But for you, as far as a pitcher goes, how differently did you pitch when runners were in scoring position?
I would say I got more aggressive, right? I think that's where the hitters are always going to try and be aggressive, and even more so out of the bullpen, right? It's like you have to come into a situation, first and second, 2 outs, late in the game. There's a very good chance that the first pitch you throw, they're going to swing. Yeah. So being able to make adjustments and understand what your strengths are so you can pitch to them, I always felt like, all right, well, if I'm going down with my best stuff. Yeah. And I'm going to attack, and know that if it doesn't work out, at least I know I can look at myself in the mirror and say, yeah, well, I was 100% committed and convicted to throw these pitches, and it didn't work out, he hit it. It was, there's so many things that can happen in terms of it not working out. But yeah, trying to really just be as aggressive as I can with the opportunity I have, no matter the situation.
So you could justify it when you think back, because athletes, that's what they do. All you think about are the things you screwed up. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you look at like when
torturous
shaking a pitch off, right? I think that's where the catcher Cal put down a recommendation. Hey, this is what I think you should throw. And sometimes there is an agreement or disagreement on what you should throw. But I know as a pitcher, it's so much easier, like I just said, to look at yourself in the mirror knowing that I was 100% committed behind this action, behind these sets of pitches, instead of trying to let someone else take control over. And then at the end of the game, you go, well, I just felt like I was a video game, like someone just played me. And I just, I didn't actually, commit and do what has gotten me to this point. So it's a very, fascinating thing that unfolds. But, yeah.
Do you think you would have liked PitchCom?
Yes. I think when I look at how fast I generally, honestly, I don't know. I thought I pitched pretty quick, but there may be the debate's out on that. I may have been a human rain delay for all I know.
Felt fast to you.
Yeah, though there was times when you were ready to go, and the idea that you didn't have to shake a million times to shake. No. Okay, it's my fourth pitch. They want to so.
Well, you see some pitchers who have it on their and they're calling their pitches.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you have been that guy?
I would say it would be hard to take that ability away from me. Yeah, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I just felt, and how I want to attack and throw the next pitch.
So you'd be telling Cal, "Here's what I'm throwing.
Yeah,
you just get ready to catch it."
Or it's like from a relieving standpoint, you're only working with 1 or 2, maybe 3 pitches, so you really can kind of let him call it and then make the adjustment from there. But yeah, I would have been a fan for sure, because I thought, it would have allowed me to pitch quicker. The amount of times that I remember where I was ready to go, where I was mid-motion, and then it's like, no, time, the hitter's not ready. It's like, come on, the hitter's not ready? I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah. Speaking of Cal, we got the bobblehead here, and I turned it towards, so on the stream it shows the best feature, his dumper.
Yeah. Dave got tired of staring at his butt, so he turned it around.
Not surprised.
What are some of the funnier conversations you've had when you go up and, I remember in Bull Durham, weren't they talking about wedding gifts or something like that? But nothing like
Candlesticks
that.
are always a nice gift.
Yeah. But some of the funnier things that you've heard, I imagine there's lots of tension and stuff going on, then other guys get involved, and either funny or like serious or screaming or yelling.
Yeah, generally it's probably more serious, but I remember a few different times, running into, tough stretch or giving up a few hits, and then, the pitching coach makes this slow walk out to the mound. But a lot of times you'll have the position players in the infield come and surround the mound. So I'd always try to tell him, like, man, it's tough getting outs today. This is. Someone say something funny, what I mean? I need to break the ice, I need to think differently than how I'm thinking, or trying to throw some different energy out there to change the outcome. I'm not sure if it actually worked, but yeah, some funny conversations with, hey, so you going to dinner tonight? Like, where are you going? You know what I mean? Like, should I go there tomorrow night?
What should I order?
Yeah.
Should I drop your name? I'll get a discount.
Yeah, exactly.
You brought up Logan and his splitter. He was talking after the game about what was working with his splitter in this one.
Yeah, I felt like I threw the good ones when I needed them. Getting ahead, getting the 2 strikes gives us freedom to throw it a lot more. We threw some before 2 strikes too, but it's been feeling good. Felt like I threw some good ones and got some swing and miss in good parts of the zone.
He's a humble dude. He's just, got some good ones in there. Yeah. It worked.
Pretty good.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Not
bad.
I thought he pitched really, really well. It was just and they needed it because it was a night that the offense came up with 4 total hits. They were crucial. Some of them were big. I mean, Ryan Bliss, his first home run of the season was huge. Polanco came up clutch. But yeah, what is your take on Thornton? Because he was outstanding. Gave you an inning in a third last night. No hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts, and he seems a little on edge. You know, you see him off, he's yelling, he's flexing, he looks a little crazy with the glasses, but I like it. I like that energy.
I do too. And, kind of an underrated reliever down in the bullpen there, honestly. Like he's got the stuff. He's throwing mid-90s with some fantastic breaking balls. So, seeing him a little bit more wiry out there, I love it. It's great to see because it sounds what I have seen, at least from last year, maybe he wasn't as like that, right? He wasn't as wiry, as intense, as fired up. But seeing his performance last night was just what you need, especially when it's going to be a lot of tight ball games. So having a reliever to bridge this gap before we get some of the injury guys to come back, that's just going to not only bode well for the team, but bode well for Thornton to continue to get the ball in these high leverage situations.
Doesn't he have Lunatic Fringe as his walk-up music or something?
I think
like
so.
That? Yeah, crazy, a little bit crazy.
Seems apropos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little different than my walk-up song for sure.
What was yours?
What'd you have?
DJ Cool, Let Me Clear My Throat.
Oh.
Yeah. Also classic. That's a tough thing to figure out, right? Like what walk-up song do you pick? And as a pitcher too, you have like, I don't know, a minute of time. A hitter, you only got like 10 seconds, right? So
yeah.
It was a tough thing to figure out. Do I get something that just only excites me and riles me up, or do I get something that gets the crowd going? I was like, well, let's get a hybrid. Let's get both, right? So that took 3 or 4 months to figure this out.
Oh, wow. That was quite if it was just what hyped you up without any concern for the crowd, what would it have been?
Oh, well, we can't go there. I'm not going to reveal that.
Why?
Oh, I'm not actually sure what it would have been, to be honest. It's probably a variety of songs, but yeah, I took many
country, classic rock, smooth jazz. What would it have been?
I would say probably I would lean towards a classic rock / like 90s era.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
Something like that. But I wouldn't do country. No, like that would be sad, I feel like.
Might bring your effort down a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
This team without Victor Robles, but it's certainly at least, it sounds like 12 weeks. Potentially worse if it doesn't go right. If it needs surgery, that's the season. It leaves 2 holes. Your leadoff spot, which was occupied by Julio last night. Tonight it's Dylan Moore. So I don't know if Dan's just seeing what works or if it's just going to be a fluid situation. So that creates a problem there. And right field. He's a very good defensive player. A little wild with the arm here and there, but gets the ball, as we saw, which led to the injury. So how do you manager Charlie Furbush does what?
Experiment for sure. And this is the time to do it. So seeing Demo leading off tonight, I think it's great. He's been playing well this year. He's hitting the ball, which is what you want in the leadoff hole, someone to get the offense started. So seeing the experimentation kind of unfold in front of us will be fun to kind of watch. And honestly, it could invigorate this lineup. Like having a change of what they thought was going to be this season. And then, I mean, what a terrible injury. I mean, incredible catch from Robles. Like, why is there a net there? Like, why? Like,
yeah,
I'm like,
so the fans don't get
down there.
Take one off the melon.
But it should have been like, if it wasn't there, I don't think he's not nearly as hurt as he is.
No, he just goes into people.
Does a flip over and his feet go over his head and he lands and
he's like Derek Jeter, gets up with a cut on his nose and he's a superhero.
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah, or maybe a concussion or something.
Yeah.
His head hits the ground. You'd take that over shoulder, right?
I mean, I'm sure it felt like, playing football, getting tackled by someone just fully stopped, right? Like full speed, and then I get hit by a wall.
Bent backwards.
Get bent backwards, man. Yeah. That was nuts. But yeah, it's going to be a tough gap to fill. I do think there are some people that can fill that gap. Dylan Moore is one of them. I also have been really kind of liking the way Ryan Bliss is coming along. I feel like he's really getting more comfortable, and to see that home run last night, I think it's going to give him more confidence. So maybe have him at the end of the lineup still kind of be that spark plug is going to be a good thing. So we'll just kind of see how it unfolds. But I do think when your team is challenged, it forces you to kind of reevaluate what you wanted to do when you were, going into the season. So maybe this allows them to find another avenue and ultimately have more success than what they've had so far.
You got to be a little crazy to run into the wall the way he did, Robles. And we were just talking about Thornton. Like, I think some of the craziest people make really good players. We talk about Devin Witherspoon. Devin Witherspoon he's a little nuts. I mean, he is like constantly talking on the field, and you hear that about Robles too. You ever play with a guy that was particularly nuts?
There's a couple guys that come to mind that were just, like I like to say, they were off their rocker. You know what I mean? Just like, out there, the first one that comes to mind was a former teammate I actually got along with quite well. But, man, what an interesting character. He only played for us for 2 years, I think. It was Logan Morrison.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Lomo. Man, what a gem of a human being.
Didn't they throw him into the leadoff spot a couple times?
Yeah. I mean, but he's an intense human being. So there's always that. I mean, I'm sure you felt the same way, Dave. There's always one guy in the clubhouse in the locker room that's totally different than everyone else. Crazy or weird. There's always one guy on your team which I think is also like the uniqueness of sports, that there's so many personalities that go into it, and there's always going to be the odd duck in the room, but doesn't mean he's a bad player or a bad teammate. He's just a different guy, right?
Right.
And it's just always interesting to bring these guys together and see if you can, stir the pot up together and get to the playoffs.
So would you stick with a guy for a few games in a row at that leadoff spot, or do you I was a little surprised that they switched it after just one night, and who knows what's behind it. Maybe Julio said, I don't want to be there, or I don't know. But I would think if they're looking for the replacement there, unless they're just committed to a platoon, hey, we'll just, any given night, it's going to be one of 4 different guys. Wouldn't you leave a guy in for 5 games, 6 games? All right, let's see what he does. Let's just make it his spot for the next week and just reevaluate after that.
Absolutely. And knowing that you're going to put this guy in everyday opportunities, he's going to know that his leash isn't 3 at-bats. Right? It's like that's the thing that's tough, is that hitting's already so hard, and if you don't have time to build up momentum and consistency, and you don't have opportunities that align with that day after day, then you can kind of get behind the 8 ball and feel like, okay, now I'm pinch hitting in the 8th inning, and I'm facing, the hardest thrower out of the bullpen. Like, okay, good luck. That's going to be a tough one to kind of figure out. So, yeah, it's certainly interesting.
When does it get? I know we probably adjust this conversation because we probably asked you this last week, but like right now, can you get any kind of a feel for this team? The one thing I was talking about recently, they've struck out less over the last 4 or 5 games. I mean, I think they started off with 41 strikeouts in that first series. So that feels like it's calming down a little bit, and it's getting a little bit better. Do you think that can take effect, or is there anything positive that you're looking at right now that you think you can project forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think it still kind of goes back to the pitching staff, right? I mean, the pitching staff is what's going to be the anchor to this team. So, I was like, certainly just continue to be impressed by Logan Gilbert and his evolution and what he's done. So, and then you double down with Munoz at the end and just looking sharp as ever. So, but yeah, I really think the pitching staff is the anchor to the team, and it's just a matter of finding a little bit of momentum and consistency across the offense that allows them not to, be always in tight games or always trying to come back. I mean, it's just hard to win games when you're always trying to get back to even, or I'm down 2. We got to get back to tying the ball game so we have a chance to win. And yeah, it's we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think the pitching staff again is lights out. So.
Any concern with Polanco? He's missing his 3rd game in the last 4. He had something with his side. I don't remember specifically. Do you remember what it was, Lefko? That Polanco
was the low bleep muscle.
Is it the oblique?
It was a couple of things now, it sounds like, because there was something with the side and now the oblique, which maybe that was the oblique over the weekend too, in addition to the knee. So, yeah.
No, I'm definitely concerned.
Yeah, I mean, right now he's your best hitter. And you can't that bat's got to be in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean your record would be worse without him.
Yeah,
like no doubt about it. So yeah, I am concerned, and the side injuries, oblique injuries, they're really kind of touchy, right? It's as a rotational athlete that has to swing regularly and swing with, max effort, if you will, to make contact. If there's any sort of hesitancy and you don't feel right, it can go south quick. And then, I think it's a good thing right now that he's actually not playing every day just to get himself healthy throughout the course of the season. We don't, they don't need more guys going down. So, I think he's done a tremendous job, but the obliques are just tough. I know guys that get hurt and then they try to come back and then they hurt it again.
Right.
So it's like, how do you get it right the first time so that you don't have to worry about it the rest of the year?
All right, coming up, we touched on the bullpen just a little bit. We'll get deeper into that. Get a former reliever's opinion on the current state of the bullpen. Charlie Furbush is with us for the entire hour, so stay tuned for all of that. Text line is there for you as well at 866-979-3776. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Fourth down territory. Going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Which Seahawks offensive lineman will have the biggest jump in 2025?
I think it's going to be Chris Haynes. The more I watch this film, the more I understand the offense, I think that this fits him. I think everyone's going to improve. I think my man's going to improve, Gerald's going to improve. But the way he plays the game now fits this type of offense. If Kubiak were here last year, Chris Haynes would have gotten more opportunity.
Fourth down territory. Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
I just did one of the best things I've done in a while as a homeowner. I had Asset Roofing come out to my house and do an inspection. Why was it the best thing? Because I'm not getting up there. I've never been on my roof, and I have no intention of ever getting up there. So I had them come out, do an inspection, let me know what's happening up there. They were at my place a little over a year ago and did the same exact thing, and they highlighted a couple spots, gave me a very detailed report, said, let's take a look at this about a year from now, see where things are. So I had them come back and do that. Did the same thing. They got up there, communication was top notch, and they did some moss removal. They unclogged a downspout, and they sent me a very detailed email with pictures of everything that they looked at and said, let's keep an eye on this. This is an area of concern for the future, but not a big deal now. And it gave me peace of mind. More importantly, I got out in front of any big problems that would have been expensive problems down the road when they're small and inexpensive. So if you're like me, no intention of getting up on that roof, no idea what's happening up there, head to Asset Roofing Co. They've been in the business for over 2 decades. They are the best in the business. And if you know what's going on up there, you know you need a repair or a roof replacement. Again, they're the best in the business. You either hire a liability or you hire an asset. Head to AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
It's our 23rd anniversary, and we're celebrating by giving you the chance to become a millionaire. That's right, a chance at $1 million. Join us on this road to riches every Saturday in April, with 2 winners drawn every hour from 4 to 9 p.m. But the fun doesn't stop there. At 10 p.m. on the 26th, we're giving away a 2025 Mercedes-Benz worth $50,000. Don't forget, your Reef Rewards card can save you up to 25 cents per gallon at Lummi Bay Market next to Silver Reef. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5 exit 260.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is an important announcement to anyone facing $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state. struggling taxpayers can now take advantage of special tax relief programs that could resolve your tax problem, stop collections, and significantly reduce the amount you owe if you qualify. Get the relief you need today during these hard economic times. Call Community Taxes Relief Hotline now at 800-741-3179. That's 800-741-3179.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, we'll help you find the perfect diamond. This is your engagement ring, aka only your life's most important piece of jewelry. No need to worry. As gemstone experts since 1929, we handpick only the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds cut to our high standards in every price range. We have diamonds in all shapes and sizes, ready to compare side by side right here in our store. Come see for yourself at Shanco.com or at your local store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We got Charlie Furbush in studio with us for the hour, as he will join us each and every week. By the way, somebody texting in. You guys can text in 866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. Somebody asking who else was involved in the no-hitter with you, because it was a collective.
Wow, they don't know?
They didn't know.
They don't know?
They said Tom
Okay.
Wilhelmsen, and then that's where they stopped.
Well, that was the last pitcher. So started off Kevin Millwood, and that was technically his second no-hitter. So he's had a little experience. But what had happened was last pitch of the sixth inning, he threw the pitch, struck the guy out, but pulled his groin on the pitch. And you're in the bullpen, it's a no-hitter going. You're like, okay, one, don't say anything down there, all right? Don't say it. Don't be some, superstitious. You can't say anything.
Don't jinx it.
You just got to watch, and hopefully it works. And he went out for the next inning to throw his first warm-up pitch, and he didn't even throw it. He just walked off the field. And I was like, oh, no. Like, did some equipment malfunction, or he really has to use the bathroom? Like, something happened, right? And then, boom, the phone rings. And I'm in the game, and I'm like, okay, here we go. No hitter Friday night against the Dodgers. Let's see what happens. I could tell this story for hours because it's kind of a fun story to tell. But after me, so I pitched 2/3 of an inning. Stephen Pryor came in, kind of a flash in the pan, but he used to throw upper 90s.
Really hard, yeah.
Yeah. And to think that we had a no hitter that day too is I came out of the game, he came in, struck out the next guy. Next inning, he comes out, walks the first two guys on like 8 or 9 pitches. And it's like, okay, first and second, no outs. Like, surely it feels like it's going to be over at that point.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then Lucas Licky came in, another lefty in the bullpen. He came in and threw 2 pitches, and it was a sack bunt, and they moved the runners over. And then so it's second and third, 1 out. And then we had Brandon League, who was the closer. He came in and got 2 outs, I believe, in the 8th inning. And I always remember this because you ever like watch a baseball game and you see the outfielders, I think it's just like a showmanship or something, but they catch a fly ball and then like as they catch it and then they throw it in, they like do a barrel roll throw. You ever seen that? You know what I mean?
I've seen it, yeah.
It's like a throw and like your body, anyways. So Sean Figgins was in left field and he had done that on one of the fly balls and, launched it in. And I was like, oh, that's pretty classic. And then League struck out the next guy. And then Tom Wilhelmsen came in at the end to close the game out. And if you go back and you watch that game, so if anyone want to pull up YouTube and just watch the highlights, what you'll see is Tom Wilhelmsen getting the last out, and Jesus Montero was the catcher. I mean, an incredible feat for a catcher to be able to get a no-hitter. And he's over the moon excited. He's so jacked up, like, I cannot believe this just happened. And he's running out to the mound just, oh, my gosh, this is amazing. And he jumps on to Tom, like full body jumps. And
not a small guy.
And you look at the video, and Tom's arms are down by his side. Like, why are you jumping on me? I don't understand. And he will self-admit he didn't know the no-hitter was going on.
Probably better, right?
Absolutely better. If he knew,
he might have clutched up in there and gotten too tight.
So, what an interesting game, And rewind to when I came in, I actually made an error to keep the no-hitter alive. Best error of my life. You know what I mean?
Would take us through it?
Yeah, swing and bunt. I believe it was D. Gordon at the time. We'll have to look at the lineup to see who exactly it was, but I think it was D. And swing and bunt back at me, and it's like one of those plays where there's a quick runner, so you got to get to the ball, turn, and make a move. And it's like as soon as I grabbed the ball, it was like a palm ball. It was just like I was like, I didn't.
It was going to be a changeup.
I didn't grab this good at all, and just launched it into right field. And I'm just like, he goes to second, and I'm just staring at the scoreboard like, yes, here it is. E1. Give me an error. Yes. Oh, yes, here we go. No hitter still alive. You know what I mean?
Please give me an error. Please give me an error.
Struck out Andre Ethier next, and, then the rest of the guys came in. So, yeah, epic.
So do you guys all have game balls and mementos from that?
Yeah.
I remember the picture of everybody.
Yeah. We got a bunch of different things. And honestly, that's, for me, I'm not ever going to be in the Hall of Fame, but that game, that's in the Hall of Fame. Moment. So, I can't wait to get to Cooperstown and see it one day.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah. Hey, what was the thing last night with Spire? It was something about how he got called in, or there was some kind of a screw up. What was?
He started coming out because Dan came out of the dugout, but Dan never gave the signal. He had both hands in his pockets and just came out to talk. Usually when the manager comes out, they're making a change. Usually they send the pitching coach out to talk to Furbush and get him straight, as they always have to. But, and then he comes out and says, I don't know whose screw up it was. I don't know if it was the bullpen guy that said, hey, get out there, or what happened. But, basically he wasn't pulling Santos.
Yeah, miscommunication. I would say not much to look into, just one of the weird scenarios that you would think typically, hey, your Dan's coming out, a new reliever's coming in. I was actually having this conversation earlier, and I think it's actually a great power move for the manager to come out and give your pitcher a pep talk and not take him out, because we're so ingrained with, okay, the pitching coach is going to come out and slow the game down or take a break because I'm giving up some hits, and he'll say hey, you're still doing good, keep your front shoulder closed and attack the hitter and just throw it down and away, something like that. But when the manager comes out and doesn't take you out, it's like it's an incredible trust building moment where you're like, wow, the manager wants to invigorate me to get the job done, and he's going to leave me in to do it. That's it's just what it creates is I will run through a million brick walls for this guy. He just gave me all the confidence in the world to get the job done, and then if you can go get it done, it just goes so far. So I actually like seeing, and he's a catcher. He's a former catcher, so he can see things that typically, honestly, even pitching coaches can't see. So, and in my mind, he doesn't need to look at it. Hey, should I go talk to him? Hey, I'm like, Dan, you are the man. If you see something, just react and go out there, right? But I think what will happen is today they're probably going to say, all right, this is how I want to operate. This is how things will maybe evolve. Typically, I will come out and remove the pitcher, but I want to make sure that everyone has or everyone understands that maybe I won't be coming out to take you out. I may be coming out to encourage you and give you confidence, because honestly, it does have a little more weight than the pitching coach. You know, not the pitching coach isn't going to say the things, but there's something about the head coach, right? I'm sure you felt the same way, Dave. Like a head coach telling you something, maybe hits different than a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I only got yelled at by my head coaches. That was like, yeah. No, you're right. I mean, I remember one time Chuck Knox stopped, and you never wanted to talk to Chuck. Like if he ever came up to you, it was because there was a problem. And it was after I failed a physical and got sent back. They traded me to the Niners, and I came back, and he stopped me in the hall, and he's like, I am so glad that trade didn't work out. And it just meant, it was like if somebody were holding like a $20,000 check, and you can either have this or have Chuck say that, I think I would have taken Chuck.
Not surprised
maybe
at all.
25,000, maybe. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, he was. That's a great move by especially Dan Wilson, as you mentioned. Now Scott Service, he also was a catcher, right? But I don't know. It's just a little bit more with Dan, just because he's like a legend here, right?
And two different type of humans, two different type of catchers and players, for that matter. So yeah, I mean, I love it. You're right. It's definitely a. I look back at my Tiger days and having conversations with Jim Leland, and just, the 5 minutes I'd get from him was like the best. It was he'd encourage me so much, and I just felt so much like mentally stronger and more confident in everything I was doing, and he just echoed that every time we talked. So.
Was he smoking a cigarette when he was talking to you?
Sure, yeah. Oh, no doubt about it. Yeah,
that big mustache and that gruff voice.
Yeah, he when he got hired, he came into spring training and started smoking cigarettes, and they had to basically the whole big league club had to go to the minor league side because he had smoked out the whole clubhouse and it stunk. It absolutely reeked. And they had to hire some emergency air filtration system so he could still smoke cigarettes in his office.
Yeah. Classic.
Yeah.
All right, coming up, how does the AL West shake out over these next few months? We'll talk about that. We got Charlie Furbush in studio with us, as he will be each and every week. That's coming up next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
The John Schneider Show.
With Wyman and Bob.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
When you guys bring in free agents, then they leave and you don't sign them, probably unique to each one. But is it just something you learn in that conversation that you go, okay?
Yeah, a lot of different reasons. It could be medical, it could be personality, financial, how they're going to be a fit in the building, how much they love football, what kind of worker are they. There's a whole interview process that I don't want to give out, actually.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Hey, are you in pain, and have you been considering surgery or even joint replacement? It's Dave Wyman here, and before you take that drastic step, I recommend you join Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, from Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for a free live stem cell webinar. It's Thursday, April 24th at 6 p.m., and the webinar will educate you on how stem cell therapy can be an extremely successful method to help regenerate cartilage in rotator cuffs, meniscus tears, and reduce pain in osteoarthritic joints. Learn all about this amazing procedure, how simple and safe it is using your own stem cells, and how Dr. Wagner determines if you're a good candidate or not. He's performed over 20,000 procedures and has had tremendous success using stem cell therapy to repair shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, even wrists and ankles. So if you're in pain, join Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at his live stem cell webinar Thursday, April 24th at 6 p.m. That's Thursday, April 24th at 6 p.m. It's free, so register now at drmarkwagnermd.com.
From groceries to home prices, the cost of living in Washington state keeps going up. Now, Olympia politicians are proposing the largest tax increases in state history. Don't be fooled. If taxes go up, we'll all pay even more. Washington needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Tell the politicians no by visiting www.affordablewashington.org. Paid for by the people for an affordable Washington. Top 5 contributors are Washington Alliance for a Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Amazon.
Windows are our home's top target for break-ins. At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer added security with our exclusive 3-layer security glass protection. Combined with our lifetime warranty, you'll have lifetime peace of mind. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity.
So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Bull riding. The perfect fusion of strength, skill, and pure willpower. It's the PBR Tacoma at Tacoma Dome, Saturday, April 26th and Sunday, April 27th. Tickets available at Ticketmaster and PBR.com.
Does your yard need shade, privacy, or a little brightening up? Look no further than Big Trees. I'm Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. At our 30-acre location, there are thousands of trees to choose from and knowledgeable staff, including a board-certified master arborist, to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Visit the nursery and learn more about Big Trees at bigtreesupply.com.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Norm. Norm, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
Spending too much money on insurance, and it just kept on going up higher and higher and higher. And this last time I did the First Mark Challenge.
So they were able to save you some money, Norm?
Oh, yeah, at least $2,000 a year.
What?
At least.
Wow. You ever feel like, man, I wish I would have taken that First Mark Challenge earlier?
Yes. I mean, $2,000 I could have saved a year, over probably 4 or 5 years. Wow.
How would you describe their customer service?
Fantastic. Beyond expectation. Call First Mark. They treat you like a real person, that they have your best interest in mind.
Norm did it. My family did it. You got to do it. And it's totally free. Go take the First Mark Challenge. See how much money they can save you like they did Norm, and how much better your coverage will get to. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory I get to talk to. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance. They work for you.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Is this your song?
Yes. Fire it up.
This is when the crowd knew Charlie Furbush was coming into the game.
That's right. Everyone had a good time. You know what I mean?
Good time, Charlie.
Yeah, when it got me, in the right headspace. So somehow, some way. Yes.
For those just tuning in, that's Charlie Furbush, former reliever for your Seattle Mariners, and we were talking about the song he came out to, and that was it. That was the song that got him fired up, got the crowd fired up, and seemed to work. He was part of a no-hitter. Wouldn't have happened if not for that song.
Thank you, DJ Cool.
That's right.
Yeah. What would be your walk-up song, Bob?
It'd be something heavier. Yeah.
Yeah, a little heavy metal type of thing.
Yeah, not metal, but it'd probably be, I don't know. I played in Dan Wilson's softball thing he did every year, and they'd let you have a walk-up song. And it was always Alice in Chains' Man in the Box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That'll work.
Yeah. That worked for me. When I'm crushing softballs out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that got me fired
Beach
up.
balls, Bob.
Beach balls, that's right.
Come on.
That's right. That's what Jose Altuve sings.
Yeah.
I used to play Pink Floyd Run Like Hell You remember that song?
Yeah, that was the intro, I think, to which was that the Sonics opening thing? Run Like Hell? Am I thinking of the right? Because the Sonics open it when they do the introductions.
Yeah.
It started out with like Deep Purple.
Yeah.
And then I think it went into that. I think it went into Run Like Hell.
Yeah.
Somebody will correct me on the text if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
But like, if you listen to that song, I mean, that's what the NFL is all about. You, at one point, said, "You better run." I'm like, yeah, that gets me going.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hey, looking at the AL West, who worries you most? I know where everybody sits currently, but when you start looking down the road, like, which do you think, who's real, who's not? How do you see it shaking out right now?
Yeah, I think the Rangers are real. I still, I know they're atop of the division, but and it's crazy to say that for, in a way, how offensively they haven't really performed. But you know, you're not that far away. You're not that far removed from a World Series. So that's the team that I still think is like the favorite of the division at this moment. And knowing the amount of moves that they are willing to make and money they're willing to spend, it feels that if they're close, they're going to go all in. So that's the team that comes to mind. You know, and I always look at Las Vegas A's, right? Of a team that's just scrappy. And it's like, I just look back from when I was playing to now, it's like the team is still got a bunch of scrappy little ball players, and you can run into them at the wrong time and they'll beat you. So, yeah, those are the two teams. I'm not too worried about the Angels. They really haven't shown anything good, in my opinion. And the Astros, you know, whatever. You know, who cares about the Astros?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
I mean,
they're always there, though.
What are the chances, though? Like, was it on purpose? Like, they decided to just break one of the starters' hands in the outfield in batting practice the other day? You know, like, what are the chances that happens?
Yeah,
That's pretty good, right? Take down the competition inadvertently, you know?
I'm loath to count out the Astros because of our years of trying to count out the Patriots. It's like when you thought they were down, they just found a way. Mariners had a 10-game lead on them last year. We saw what happened. I acknowledge they don't look the same. They got off to a horrible start last year, too. So they kind of need to be dead and buried before I can say they're dead and buried.
No, I get that.
Bob wants them to be good so he can continue hating them.
Yeah.
That's what the problem is.
Right?
Yeah.
It
is fun, though, to hate them.
You want them to be just good enough to hate them?
Because the Mariners have never really had a rival. In that, yeah, certainly fans will isolate players or teams that they hate. But just like we always bring up the 49ers and the Seahawks. That was legit sports fans hating each other and sports hate.
Yeah.
Mariners have never had that.
Yeah.
So this whole Astros thing, the Mariners were good. They were winning. They won 90 games back-to-back seasons. They got to the playoffs once. They lose to the Astros. That rivalry is fun. It makes it fun. So I want to keep that hate alive.
I am all for it. But you're not the only one. I think everyone in the league, in a lot of ways, hates the Astros.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's for doing something so terrible. It's like everyone is against the Astros, right? I mean, so. Well, yeah, let's keep hating on them.
Because you talk about like sign stealing in football a little bit and everything. That's so much different than what this was. I mean, that's the biggest mystery in sports is what pitch is coming next, right? I mean, you could even know what somebody's going to run offensively. You still got to stop it and all that. But knowing what pitch is coming, I mean, that's the biggest cheat code ever, right?
Absolutely. I always say I would rather have faced a lineup full of guys on steroids than anyone that knew what was coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It completely takes away from everything. It's like, okay, if you know what I'm going to throw, then why are we playing this game? I'm just throwing batting practice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
It's just terrible. So, yeah, let's stick it to the Stros as much as we can.
Okay. Yeah. Keep it alive.
I'm all for that.
Bob's done his part. I'll tell you that much.
Let's go.
That's funny that you had that, your impression of the A's, because ever since, we've been doing this show and long before, it just seems like the A's never took anything seriously, and they just were like a bunch of cheapskates and weren't going to pay their guys, weren't going to put any money, invest in the team. Yet you saw them as this scrappy bunch of dudes that could beat you at any point.
It was tough. I mean, and they've made the playoffs a couple times, right? Like they sneak in and they kind of wreak havoc in a lot of ways, and they find they find value in players that you just don't think are going to be very good, and then when the season ends, you go, that guy's pretty good. You know, like that guy had a good year, and you can see it from an offensive standpoint to a pitching standpoint where they, you know, I think the Mariners do a good job too in that sense where they find value in players that, you know, most people would look at and say, oh, we're going to write this guy off. He's not going to have a good year this year. He's had a bad year last year. So seeing how they operate, I think it's been a lot for the Mariners to kind of sit back and watch, but I would imagine that they're trying to play a little bit of similar philosophy. Like, how can we get the most bang for our buck with the resources we have, you know? So that's why I think they do a good job of finding guys that can be scrappy and put a team that's not that bad out there, you know? And you think they'd be, like, terrible based on how they operate, but for whatever reason, you know, they're still a big league club, and they can take you down.
Playing in a minor league stadium.
I know. Yeah.
I saw somebody's some cell phone footage the other day. There were tens of people there.
Tens?
Yeah. It was pretty sparse.
It's going to be a tough place to pitch this summer too, right? I mean, middle of Sacramento or middle of summer in Sacramento is going to be scorching.
Yeah.
So that's going to be very similar to the Pacific Coast League, which is historically a hard place to pitch and a good place to hit. So
could be a launching pad out there.
Yeah, and honestly, that could just be a good thing for the Mariners in the division is that they're not playing in Oakland, which Oakland had the biggest foul territory.
Yeah.
Right? Like the foul territory outside the first and third baseline was massive, and that's partly due to the dual sports stadium it was. But taking that away and taking that those cold nights in Oakland away, and you're in the middle of Central California, and it's going to be high 90s and scorching. So that really could affect what their team looks like in the second half more so than the first half.
Yeah. Charlie, good stuff, man. Appreciate it. We'll do it again next week.
Looking forward to it. I'll bring all the hottest takes.
Yeah, bring your hot takes.
Let's go.
Let's say some outrageous things. Stick around. He's going to say some outrageous things next week, so buckle up for that. No, we appreciate it, and we're going to do that every week through the baseball season. Meanwhile, we'll get El Hombre's thoughts on the national title game and everything else happening in the world of sports, and we're going to find out what we learned. That's coming up next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Zog. Weekdays 6 to 10.
What Randy brings is this kind of edginess that is pretty rare in baseball to see it combined with kind of a look-at-me showmanship. I don't say that in a negative way for someone to make themselves a spectacle like that, especially when they're as quiet as they are, until he does something awesome and then he turns into Dennis Rodman. Like, I love it.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through April 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying internet package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Early termination fee applies.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and $250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you, guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Taking a look at your baseball scoreboard right now. They're headed to the top of the 6th in Pittsburgh with the Cardinals out in front of the Pirates 3-1. It's the Nationals just whooping up on the Dodgers right now, 8-0. The score, that one in the top of the 5th. No score between the Red Sox and Blue Jays in the bottom of the 5th. Top of the 4th in Tampa Bay. The Angels out to a 2-0 lead over the Rays. They're in the top of the 3rd in Atlanta with the Braves out in front of the Phillies 3-1. They're headed to the bottom of the 2nd in Kansas City. No score between the Twins and Royals. Top of the 2nd in Chicago. Rangers and Cubs are scoreless. Still to come. Brewers on the road to take on the Rockies. Orioles facing the Diamondbacks in Arizona. And Game 2 of the series between the Astros and the Mariners coming your way in about a half hour with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch. Luis Castillo on the hill for the Mariners facing off against Framber Valdez.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
Yeah, you know what you can get me, Pee-wee? What? El Hombre. That was a catastrophe. I know. That's a new low. Roz is better. El Hombre. The natural meets Rudy meets... I don't even know how to describe it. El Hombre.
It is that time, everybody. You look forward to it every Tuesday at 5 o'clock. We bring in this man for a conversation on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook hotline. The one, the only, El Hombre. Michael Bradley is here with us. How are you, man?
Well, I'm a lot better now. Schwarber just hit a 2-run triple, baby.
Uh-oh. All right. Phillies are off to a good start, aren't they? Aren't they like 7-2 or?
Yeah, they've won all 3 of the series they played. They took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers, and now they're down in Atlanta, hoping to add to the Braves' misery.
That must be kind of fun to watch. We don't know what that's like.
So it's only 160-2.
Yeah, a little rough start out here, Michael. We'll talk some baseball in a moment. But what was your feeling about the national title game? Were you rooting one way or the other, or you just wanted a good game? Where were you?
Well, as you know, I had Florida to win it all, so I wanted it. I wanted to be right. But I've gotten to know Kelvin Sampson over the last several years. I preview his team every year, and because I do it for Blue Ribbon Yearbook, I got to write 3,500 to 4,000 words. So I got to talk to him for a long time. I got to ask him about every player. So I talk to him for about 45 minutes to an hour every year in the summer. And then a couple other times I've talked to him for other trend stories. I just find him to be a really decent guy. And I know everybody's going to say, oh, he's got to put on probation. Yeah, for texting somebody too much. He wasn't paying players. He wasn't, running, prostitute parties or something for his recruits. So Phillies take the lead. Excellent. So I was rooting for him because I like him, and I wanted to see Houston win one. They now have been to 7 Final Fours and have not won a championship. That's the most of any team ever.
What'd you think about the quality of play? I was telling Mike, I guess, what the officials do in the last game, they want to swallow the whistle, I guess. But, man, there was a lot of physicality. It just seemed like you could have called a lot of fouls there. But did you okay with the way they called it?
Yeah, I was. And for the reason that both teams have a lot of big men.
Yeah.
Houston has, Tugler and I can't remember all the other guys' names, but they got big people. And Houston and Florida has a big front line. So I wanted to see them be able to bang around a little bit. That's fine. It was certainly not an esoteric game. You're not going to put this one in the Naismith Hall of Fame and say, can I see an example of really fine balletic basketball? Yeah, sure, watch this game. It was a rock fight.
Yeah,
right? Everybody came out of it with a black eye and lost a tooth. And I have no problem with that. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what's weird is I always complain about that with the NFL.
Yeah,
that they're making it soft. And here I was going, man, I think this might be too physical.
Dave said today it was way too rough. Yeah, it was hard to watch.
What did you become, a wide receiver overnight or something? You're no longer a linebacker?
No, it's like I'm a kicker or something. I don't know, man.
So you wear a face mask with a single bar.
Oh, that's right. You don't see those anymore.
I know.
Those old kicker face masks, which I'm not sure what
the
purpose
ones
they
that
served.
Are down, they were down on the chin. It wasn't like a real face mask.
Like, what was the point of that even being there?
It was a perfect spot for you to put your elbow in the guy's face,
or just a handlebar to grab the guy and drag him around. But what about the way the game ended? And I was telling these guys I felt bad for the kid. There were plenty of mistakes made prior to that led to their loss. It wasn't all on him. They have 3 turnovers in the final minute, and you could a million different opportunities you could point to. But what did you think about the way it ended?
Well, I tell you, it is becoming more and more difficult for teams to get a good play and a good look in the last seconds of a game. From what I heard from Sampson, what he was hoping there was he wanted to get that guy on the drive and have him going downhill so that he either draw a foul, get a shot, or dish it to somebody if they collapse. And he didn't pump fake. Had he pump faked there, because the guy was coming out to stop the shot, the guy would have flown past him and he could have at least gotten inside the arc and taken a 2-point shot, or maybe gotten all the way to the rim. So, again, we're talking 22-year-old guys. We're talking, the biggest spot in their lives. We're talking a defense that was pushed way out along the perimeter. If I were a coach, I would spend a considerable amount of time in the offseason watching tape of every single level of basketball I can find and see if I can come up with some plays that get me better shots in the last 10, 15 seconds of the game.
Hey, I don't begrudge anybody trying to get money. That's for sure. And just for these college kids, yeah, I mean, it's basically going to go to the highest bidder, but at least that's what it looks like. Do you see this going forward, that it's going to be like 4 number ones or maybe a number 2 in there in the end going forward? Do you think that's going to be pretty consistent with everything that's going on behind the scenes?
Well, I mean, what's going to happen is when the teams opt into this settlement, everybody's going to have a $20.5 million salary cap. And the funny thing is, SEC, big time football schools are going to devote 75% of that to football, and it's going to leave less money for the other sports than a place like the Big East is going to have. So, right now, Virginia Commonwealth, I have this on very good authority, which is a member of the Atlantic 10 and doesn't have a football program, is offering $350,000 per starter. And some other schools can't do that because they've got to split $5 million among every other sport. So I'm just perfectly fine with the players getting as much money as they can.
Yeah.
Hey, are fans out there starting to get way into the draft, or is it all Phillies right now?
No, here's the thing. The Eagles have the 32nd pick. They don't have a real glaring need, right? We need a guard, but they've drafted 2 guards over the last 3 or 4 years. They need some defensive back help, but we drafted 2 cornerbacks last year and picked up a safety. They signed Vaughn, the linebacker, so and they need a backup defensive tackle. Maybe a third receiver would be nice. So it's not like we got to go out. It's
not
an
dire.
embarrassment. No, it's not. So, people will watch the draft, and here's what's going to happen. They're going to draft a defensive lineman at some point. They're going to draft an offensive lineman at some point. They need a tackle because Lane Johnson probably plays 2 more years. They're going to probably draft a wide receiver. They drafted a couple last year. They'll draft some defensive backs. Howie Roseman he's got 8 picks. He can't sit on 8 picks and make 8 picks. He's going to have to deal. So he's going to trade a 7th and a 6th from this year for a 4th next year, and he's going to mess around with that. So the Eagles fans are not going to get crazy about the draft. And the other thing about it is, too, people around here really don't know very much about college football. So talking about the defensive end from Tennessee who's fallen a little bit in the draft, the edge rusher, we need him. Well, why? Well, because it looks like he's good. Well, have you ever watched him? No, I don't know what he can do, but I've heard he's good. So, that's how we look at the draft here these days.
Are you a mock draft guy? Does that interest you at all?
I'm a mock draft guy in the NBA and the NFL, and it's just fun. I don't ever put any stock in it, but it's just fun. And I love reading Mel Kiper's because I imagine him talking the words that he's written and really fast. And I've interviewed him a bunch of times, and it is impossible to keep up with him over the phone.
Yeah.
It is astounding. Michael, I'll tell you what, he's unbelievable. He's got a great arm. He throws really good balls. Deep ball can feather it in. Maybe not as good on the out pattern, but he's going to get a lot better with that. It's just like, I'm done. What'd you say, the third word, Mel?
Yeah. I wonder how he got his start, man. Because he's become...
He got his start. You know how he got his start? He just started nobody was doing draft stuff. It's just a classic. It's why Joe Lunardi's the bracketologist. Yeah. Nobody did what he did. And he started producing, like loose leaf papers or Xerox paper things, sent them all over the place. He started to, the draft gained popularity. He gained popularity. He lives I think he lives with his mom or something. It's funny when you call him, you call his wife's cell phone. It's really funny.
Wow. Hey,
he's like an old school guy.
We spoke to somebody. What was the guy's name that we spoke to yesterday from the Michigan broadcast, Lefko?
John Jansen.
John Jansen. Yeah, we spoke with him yesterday.
He played tackle for Michigan and he played in the NFL. Yeah, big guy.
Yeah, we spoke with him, just getting a little insight because in looking at all the mock drafts, there have been a couple of, just seeing who's attached to the Seahawks in various drafts. There was a couple of Michigan players. Wanted to get your take as a Michigan honk. Kenneth Grant was one of them, and the other was their tight end Colston Loveland.
Love Loveland. I think he's going to be really good. He's versatile. He can run down the center of the field. He's quick. He's got good hands. You can split him out a little bit. Grant, I'm not as sold on. Physical freak, okay? You could put a rhinoceros on his back and he could jump up onto a 3-foot box, right? He's unbelievable. He can run down the ice cream truck. But the problem is, he sometimes doesn't play every play. Yeah. You saw what he did against Penn State a couple of years ago when the back got loose, and he caught him. Not the defensive back, not the outside linebacker. The 6'4", 360-pound guy caught him from behind. So, can you imagine that poor guy in film? Hey, who got you there, Joe? Oh, yeah, it was the big fat guy. Oh, nice speed. Good wheels, pal.
Well,
so
John...
Loveland is good. Huh?
Go ahead.
Loveland's going to be, I think, is going to be a very good pro.
Yeah.
I think Grant will be good. I don't know. He has the potential to be great. He's got the physical tools to be great. If he gets into a little better shape and decides to play every down, you got yourself a monster.
Yeah, I think Jansen, he liked him, Kenneth Grant. The guy I liked, and I think also Daniel Jeremiah likes, is that Mason Graham kid.
Oh,
the other D tackle.
He is a stud.
Yeah.
He's maybe a little like, you know who he reminds me of? Randy White, the manster, part man, part monster. Here's the thing about Graham. He was a wrestler in high school.
Yeah.
So he understands working with leverage.
Right.
And he's one of those guys who is just going to line up against you, and you're going to have to deal with him every single play. He's a real pain in the neck and everywhere else for the guys having to block him. He doesn't stop. He can make plays against the run. He can get in the backfield. He can rush the passer a little bit from the interior, which is rare. Whoever gets him is going to be really happy, I think.
Listen to this guy. He's a mock draft guy.
I know. We could have
guy.
We could have just booked you to talk about the Michigan players.
Right.
He also told us
Wade Leverage was a wrestler in college, in high school. It was unbelievable, but great motor. Plays every play. Don't take it off. Can get inside. Make the stuff behind the backfield. Rest the passer. Good character guy. Good in the locker room.
Unfortunately, we were a little disappointed because we asked him about, all right, tell us about some of the O-linemen. Typically, Michigan, Ohio State, all the big programs produce O-linemen, and he said, nah, not this year.
Yeah.
No, they don't have any. They don't have any offensive linemen this year. Ohio State has a couple. I hate to admit it, but they've got a couple good players along the line. One of them got hurt last year. Oh, good Lord. Sorry. We got a guy making his first ever start in left field tonight. He robbed the guy of a home run in the first, and he just took a routine fly ball and turned it into a search attack. So he made the catch. But Ohio State's got a couple guys who are going to get drafted on the offensive line.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, that's kind of boring, right? I mean, everybody wants to see the receivers and everything, but it's becoming more and more like rare. It just seems like there's kind of an epidemic, or a shortage, I should say, of good offensive linemen. And it's like you talk to guys like Schneider, or really probably even Howie Roseman. I mean, he's done a great job with it, but there's a lot of people that feel like there's only like 6 or 7 teams in the NFL that really have the offensive line that they want.
Well, and guess what? You're right, and here's why. You got so many teams that are running these air raid and these spread formations, so they're not blocking the run by firing out of a stance or firing straight out, because a lot of it is lure them in and then run the draw. If you're running in the outside zone, it's a stretch, and pro players, as you know, Dave, they can get outside now. You can't run wide. You don't see sweeps anymore. And they almost want you to run sweeps because they're going to be there at the sideline saying, "Come on, I got you right here. Let me put you on the ground gently." So you don't have as many linemen who are trained to play NFL football. And look, the NFL right now, the Eagles showed you what you need to do. You need to be strong up front on both lines. And I think it'll be very interesting to see how many offensive and defensive linemen are drafted on the 24th.
He is El Hombre with us each and every Tuesday at 5 p.m. is where you can find him. You can also find him on Twitter at Daily Hombre, on Twitter. Michael, we appreciate it. We'll do it again next week.
So long, suckers.
There you go. There he is in all of his glory.
All his glory.
By the way, Mariners hosting the Astros tonight, and the T-Mobile Park roof will be, as I stare across the newsroom, it looks sunny outside right now.
Don't fall for it, Bob.
It's a trap.
That's what I think.
All right, I'll go with you. I'll say closed.
I'm as good as any weatherman.
That's right. Every time I say anything about the weather to Dave, he just goes, "They don't know."
They have no idea.
It doesn't matter what I tell them. Hey, it's supposed to be nice tomorrow. They don't know. They don't know. So I'll go with Dave on that one. We'll say it's closed. I'm not falling for this sunshine right now.
It's better than an old man sitting around talking about the weather. Oh, yeah, Bob, looks like the humidity here over the... Isn't that a Geico Dr. Rick commercial now?
Yeah, my dad does it to me all the time.
Talk about the weather.
As soon as I walk in the door, he'll start telling me about the weather in Palm Springs. I'm like, yeah, but I live here.
I'm here.
That has no impact. All right, that's the Mariners Roof Report brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Let's find out what we learned.
This is a house of learned doctors. What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
What did we learn today?
No one's a bigger idiot than me.
Stupidity is the easiest way out.
All right, we're in the dark. We don't have the clever tease. No idea what we learned today.
Yeah, well, Dave's helping out a little bit. If you're watching on the stream, Wyman is helpfully displaying that we learned about an important Mariners giveaway.
Speaking of Cal.
What is Dave staring at?
He's staring at Cal's butt.
All right, I'm going to...
It's right in front of him, strategically placed right in front of him. Don't miss your chance to grab a Cal Raleigh Platinum Glove bobblehead. The first 10,000 fans tonight and tomorrow will score this limited edition must-have souvenir. Go to mariners.com/tickets for more info.
And please look at the stream.
There's the big dumper right there.
Now he's got it facing
That way I don't have to look at it.
Don't break it, Dave.
I don't want to touch it.
Don't even look at it. It can't be touched.
You think they put a little extra in the dumper area? It looks like.
Well, I'm looking at the side of it. It looks like they might have. Yeah. Looks like they might have.
Good portrayal there.
Tried to keep it realistic.
There you go, Matt. It's smiling at you.
There you
go. The vertical smile.
Oh, boy. It's still there. Looking at it on the stream.
The funniest part of that is that's my brother and me. Bob playing the part of my brother when we were in 3rd and 5th grade. At the beginning, he was like, he's staring at Cal's butt.
Nuh-uh. You are.
You sound like my big brother about 55 years ago.
Well, people on the stream are getting a good peek at it right now because it's facing the camera, his backside.
I was tired of looking at his dumper.
So there you go. That's what.
I'll turn it around because he's got the platinum glove.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. And
Apparently, according to Logan Gilbert, he's telling everybody that. He's like, oh, yeah, Cal reminds us of it every day. Hey, platinum glove, you got
really?
one? Yeah, he was teasing him about it.
It's a pretty cool giveaway. If you're into the bobbleheads, this is one of the better looking ones, I think. So they're giving away first 10,000 tonight and tomorrow as well.
They're stepping up with the bobbleheads, like the bat flip one. Julio?
Yeah.
Which I was not able to break, actually. So, it's extra
You tried
durable.
even.
Well, I didn't try. I just decided I'm going to be me.
And if it breaks,
I was, and it didn't break. Nothing broke.
I'm going to be me, and it might break. What else did we learn?
Well, we learned, I think, maybe for the 7th to 10th time, that Matt and Dave don't quite have the same taste in movies.
We were just talking about White Lotus during the break.
I heard my wife and daughter are watching that.
You don't watch it?
Yeah, the guy who writes the whole thing.
Mike White.
Yeah, so he's Dusty from Gentlemen Broncos. You seen Gentlemen Broncos?
No. You've asked us about that show a million times.
I thought Matt would have watched it by now.
It's been on my list for a while, but I've heard it's bad, and you recommend it.
You're gonna think it's.
What does that tell you?
You're gonna think it's stupid, but it's pretty.
I've
pretty
heard
quirky.
it's bad, and you're recommending it. So there you go.
Actually, I don't think we have it going that way. It's the other way. I hate what he recommends, but he likes everything I recommend.
What have I liked that you've recommended?
Gentlemen Broncos.
I doubt it.
Yeah, Dusty. It's such a bizarre movie, Gentlemen Broncos, but there's a point where the snake is around his neck. He's got this big, disgusting snake, and then the snake just takes a huge dump right on his shoulder. And I don't know how they...
Classic cinema.
Yeah. And then she goes, I better go get some paper towel.
This is the man that is calling out my cinematic taste.
Yeah.
This is the one claiming I don't have good taste in movies.
You didn't like Super Troopers, but you like the snake pooping on somebody.
You will think it's funny.
I find that hard to believe.
To this day, I say to my wife, I need paper towel.
Leave the S off?
Yeah. But, yeah, it's funny, though. My daughter and I like my daughter has a weird sense of humor.
Yeah.
And so do I. So we both loved it. And my son and my wife can't stand it. They think it's the dumbest movie ever.
Hold on. Does your daughter like Super Troopers?
Well, I'll ask her. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm going to say no. Yeah.
I bet she might. If she's seen it, I bet she'd go, oh, yeah, that's hilarious.
Now settle down, meow.
You should text her about it right now.
Right now.
You like that part, yeah.
It's great.
The meow part was okay.
That was pretty funny. Come on. What else did we learn?
Well, we learned from Charlie, actually, that there are just some big questions and life issues that relievers deal with.
Doesn't he have Lunatic Fringe as his walk-up music or something
I think
like
so.
That? Yeah. Crazy. A little bit crazy.
Seems apropos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little different than my walk-up song for sure.
What was yours?
What'd you have?
DJ Cool, Let Me Clear My Throat.
Oh.
Yeah. Also classic. That's a tough thing to figure out, right? Like, what walk-up song do you pick? And as a pitcher, too, you have, like, I don't know, a minute of time. A hitter, you only got, like, 10 seconds, right? So
Yeah.
it was a tough thing to figure out. Do I get something that just only excites me and riles me up, or do I get something that gets the crowd going? I was like, well, let's get a hybrid. Let's get both, right? So that took 3 or 4 months to figure this out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was shocking that Charlie had that. I would have thought maybe, I don't know, country or whatever. I don't know why I would think that, but country's not very inspiring, right? Like the rockers are always getting laid, right? I mean, and, you know, the country guys never.
Never.
Yeah, I just always are singing some sad song about couldn't get laid.
It's usually somebody left them, the dog's gone, the truck's broken down.
You know the rockers are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know, Dave.
Yeah. Bob knows it firsthand.
All right, that does it for us. I want to thank our guests today, Charlie Furbush and El Hombre, for joining us on the program. If you missed any part of today's program, you can find it on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. You got the Mariners and Astros game 2 coming your way next. We'll join you after tomorrow's day game with Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
The Cal Raleigh Show.
Belted way out of here to right field. Holy smokes.
Every Thursday with Shannon Dreyer on Wyman and Bob.
Seattle has been nothing but good to me. I would love nothing more to play for one team my whole career.
Listen live on the Seattle Sports app or find the video on YouTube.
Cal Raleigh with a walk-off home run.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
47,000 fans are going crazy.
Are you looking at diversification and stability with your investment portfolio, especially with the volatility right now in the stock market? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years. We've had 0 investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given market conditions. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Legacy's Northwest Fund also accepts IRA accounts as well. Find out why over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Get in touch with us today. Legacy's Northwest Fund returning 9% has limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity.
So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and 1 unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus 1 unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus 1 unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Eric Johnson here. I covered a lot of accidents over the past 30 years or so, but I never got to say much about what to do after a crash. Be honest, do you know what evidence to collect, what pictures to take, what documents to request, or what you shouldn't say to your insurance company? The Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the roads throw at them. Know your rights and how to avoid common mistakes after an accident by getting your free copy at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-371-0505. 800-371-0505.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hoped it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Hey, this is a great deal. Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement, incentivizing homeowners like you to book their roof replacement right now. It's Mike Salk here, and this is a great time to do it. The days are getting longer. Post 7 p.m. sunsets, those crews can get your roof done quick, just in time for the spring rains to keep your home dry and protected. Here's what you got to do to claim your $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing. Book a free estimate from their website, riversideroofingllc.com. And when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. $1,000 back in your pocket and a brand new roof over your head. Be sure to ask Brandon about their 35 years of local experience, their GAF Master Elite certification, which puts them in the top 3% of roofers nationally, and the catch-all system, which they use to keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails and shingles. It's all at riversideroofingllc.com. Tell them Mike Salk sent you. Go to Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
This is Seattle Sports.